What is up, nerds? This is the Cinema Asylum podcast. Welcome to Sci Fi September.
Heck yeah, let's go!
Woo! Fall's finally here. Yay.
As they say in the TV show Titans, September is finally here and the season of the harvest is upon us. As Paul loves that line.
Yep.
Time flies
Every
so
week.
fast, doesn't it, folks?
I am Matthew, one of the superhero and sci-fi experts.
I'm Dyllan, the other superhero and sci-fi expert.
I am Garrett. I'm the Indian drama expert.
I am John Thompson. I am the action and animation expert. Welcome back, Dyllan.
Yeah, welcome back to me. It's been a minute.
So today's going to be exciting. We are going to be talking, this is going to be a month-long episode that we're doing every week. We are doing greatest sci-fi movies of each decade. Today we will be doing the top 5 of the 70s and the top 10 of the 80s. And what we're going to do, like before we actually give our rankings, we're kind of going to discuss like what was kind of big at the time, like the arrival of the space film or whatever. We're just going to give a brief like summary of like that decade without actually saying movie titles till we give our lists.
Okay, yeah, I get you.
Just
All
kind
right.
of
Good idea.
Yeah.
the rise of cyberpunk, whatever type stuff.
Yeah, right. Like this was what was prevailing at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get you.
So this is going to be fun.
Yep.
You guys want to jump right into trivia?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Do it.
80 sci-fi. What 80 sci-fi movie did horrible at the time of release and became a cult classic selling action figures, memorabilia?
Oh God.
Oh, I
I
think
believe
it's got to be pretty obvious of what I'm thinking.
at first before you got to the end of that, I thought it was going to be Blade Runner, but that's not true.
I think I know the
Look
answer.
at my list.
I think I know the answer. Because if I can think of what I think it is,
Wait, I think I know what it is.
yeah.
I'm going to go with Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
That was not going to be my guess.
So, are we saying like at the time that it flopped,
Yes.
basically,
Mhm.
like even though it flopped, it was selling really well at the time?
No, now it is.
Now it is? Okay. I would double Killer Clowns.
I was going to say The Thing, but now do I change?
Yeah,
but now do I change my mind?
I don't really see that many action figures for the Thing, though.
Well, I
Same,
mean, you never.
same.
I mean, you never know. But you know what? But you know what? Just to save myself for not getting 0, I'll go with you guys. Say Killer Clowns.
2 points, 2 points, 2 points.
Yay!
Woo,
Some
thank
of my first
goodness.
points of the
I mean,
year.
Killer Clowns is everywhere right now.
It
Like,
is.
It is.
It is like a phenomenon.
Well, I mean,
It's
they
been that way for like a few years.
It's really hot at Spirit Halloween too,
Yeah,
which is why I
oh
threw it
God.
out there with
It's
Halloween coming
everywhere.
up.
yeah. So like they're making prop weapons from Spirit Halloween. They just launched they didn't just launch, but this year they launched a asymmetrical survival game based on Killer
Yeah.
Clowns. I think that they just got their 4K port this year too. I'm
Mhm.
not too sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was released on 4K this year.
Yeah.
There's also a video game, right?
Yeah, that's why I was talking
Yeah.
about the asymmetrical survival.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. I really thought it was The Thing because it was not well received at the time, and then it did not do very well at the box office.
Neither did
but
Blade
that
Runner.
A lot
true,
of
but
sci-fi
then
back
has
then
gained
did.
itself to be a classic and considered one of the greatest of all time.
No,
so
the thing only has, I don't think it even has McFarlane toys. I think it's just the NECA figures.
It probably is.
Yeah,
okay.
like there's very
Outs-
few out there. They're just like the like high end like collectors.
Outside
figures.
of like core
Yeah, sure.
conventions, I've really never seen action figures for the Thing.
No, only online.
Yeah,
You
That
never
or
see it in the wild.
I've seen some at like Core Hound and Days
Yeah.
of the Dead and stuff like that. But
Not
What
out in the wild.
Would have been a
Yeah.
bad guess though. It would not have been too bad.
you
No,
go
it wouldn't have
to
been.
you go to any Walmart, you'll see Killer Clown stuff
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
Or Ghostface.
Yay.
Freddy.
I mean, Ghostface, yes, but Killer
Sure.
Clowns, no.
Freddy and Pennywise too. You'll see everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
yeah, unfortunately.
like I said, I'm pretty sure like at this point, I just don't notice it.
I think honestly, with all the reboots and stuff that are happening, I wouldn't be surprised if we get soon an announcement of a new Killer Clowns movie.
I'd be okay with it.
It'd be
And
really
I'd be
interesting.
I'd be down. Absolutely.
So, I want to give you guys a heads up on Sci Fi the 70s. I only got 4, so I might just get that out of the way. I don't have 5. I have 4
Yeah.
that I actually love. So
We're kind of going to discuss this for a minute first.
okay, sure.
So 70s, sci-fi wasn't as prevalent. It was still considered kind of a B-movie genre.
Yeah.
But I would say 70s was like the time where sci-fi was really moving away from the cheesiness
Yeah.
of the 50s
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
60s with like the
This was the
space
birth
age
of
and stuff
it,
like
yeah.
that. And this was becoming a lot more philosophical, or very much in some cases a lot of 70s sci-fi is still influencing a lot of like indie films nowadays.
Yeah.
Like one of the films I'm going to mention in my top 5 is very influential on a lot of my favorite science fiction movies that have been released now, which I'll mention soon.
Yeah. It started to get, that was like the birth of the modern sci-fi was the 70s.
It was no longer
Yeah.
becoming cheesy, and it was because science fiction was really before the 70s was only really considered to be like strictly for like the nerdy types.
Yeah.
And it was now becoming actually much more mainstream, and that leads to nowadays where science fiction is completely mainstream. So
I feel like the only thing before the 70s that was really kind of mainstream was Star Trek.
yeah, Star Trek. That
Yeah.
was the beginning of it, but
Yeah.
like it was still
The
Star
70s
Trek
was
was
what
still
started
back.
it, yeah.
Star
Yeah.
Trek was still back then a fairly like niche thing.
Yes.
But it grew over time.
Do you guys have anything to add before we start our list?
Well, I mean, one of the main reasons why we had that major boom in the 70s was because of it following the space race.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like we landed on the moon in '69, or supposedly we landed on the moon in '69.
We're not going to get into that. Though.
Oh, come on!
If you want to find Dylan's theories, go to his personal
we gotta
Twitter.
maintain the demographics here.
Listen, all I'm saying is there's no air in space, so why is that flag moving?
If you want to follow
I
Dylan's
did watch
conspiracy
that.
theories,
I did
go down
watch
his
one of
Twitter.
those documentaries
Yes.
a few years ago.
They're so good. They're so good. It's some of my favorite shit.
I never got to see Fly Me to the Moon though, and that was something I was interested
Fly
Yeah.
me to the moon.
I was gonna make a joke and said, but that's just a theory. Dylan's theory. Thanks for watching.
Honestly, I might do my own offshoot podcast where I'm just spewing like crazy crackpot
Conspiracy
theories. Yeah.
About cryptids and stuff
You're
like
gonna
that.
you're gonna be the new.
You
Alex
know what?
Jones.
I'd be on board with that. I would so listen to you talk for like 30 minutes or something.
Okay, we
Now-
gotta discuss this later.
now-
Yeah, my foil hat
During this
segment.
podcast, you have to do a pitch perfect impression of J. Jonah Jameson the entire time.
I could do it. Yeah. I won't reveal it here, but I could do it. I definitely
on this
think I could.
episode of
It take a
Dylan's
little
Theories.
practice. Yeah.
Oh, I picture Spider-Man.
Buzz Aldrin is a menace.
Well, we're getting off track here. Anyway, okay, let's go.
We're
Here we go.
on track.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
We're never on
Okay.
No. Who wants to start this?
I'll
So
start.
one of you guys.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, I feel like two of the top of all our top fives are gonna be the same movies.
Yeah.
Let's just get into them. Of course, Star Wars.
Yes,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
It
classic
changed
Star
the
Wars.
face of sci-fi.
And
Yeah.
filmmaking in general.
Yeah.
Every mainstream Hollywood film that's trying to be a blockbuster looks at Star Wars, and
Yes.
that's where it pretty much started. I mean, 2 years before that, Jaws would birth the summer blockbuster, but Star Wars, I think, was what really
Perfected it.
was what defined how a blockbuster film could be, the formula, and of course the hero's journey and all that. And I think that's the main reason why it became Star Wars, was because it, like Indiana Jones, another Lucas property, it took influence from very early days of film serials like Flash Gordon and those kind of old serials that would play at the beginning of back in the 40s and 50s would play before your movie started, and it was like a weekly series thing in the form of serials, as that you would call them, and they would have that was where the iconic title crawl that is synonymous with Star Wars now. That's where it really originated, was from those early film serials, and that Star Wars kind of made it iconic, but it didn't exactly originate it. And neither really, Star Wars didn't originate really any of its ideas, but it combined all of them into just a gigantic package. With the hero's journey story structure, and just incorporated all these science fiction aspects into it, and of course all the historical things with the space race, and just it's Star Wars. I don't think we really need to explain it that much.
Yeah,
but,
everybody knows Star Wars at this point.
Yeah, spoilers is number one on my list. No surprise
Yeah,
there.
I'm pretty sure it's number one on most of our lists.
It's number 2 on mine, but
Close enough, yeah.
then the other one, it. It's Ridley Scott, and it's Alien.
Number
Uh,
one.
Yeah, that's
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 actually
my
ne-
number 1 too.
That's actually number 2 on my list, actually.
Yep. I mean, the last main episode we talked about this film, all these films to death, but I talked about it in that episode. It was like where Alien kind of took the idea of like a space crew discovering an alien creature, and it starts picking them off, and it just in the 50s and 60s, this kind of thing would have been really goofy and campy, but Alien made it so dark, so metaphorical with the a lot of the themes of sexual penetration is how I'll say it. I mean, that's what a lot of H.R. Geiger's designs really were trying to get at. There was a lot of that those sexual themes where something impregnates you and then it kills you once it comes out. But yeah, Alien, just a masterpiece. It changed science fiction as well as horror. I mean, any horror film that doesn't take place on Earth owes everything to Ridley Scott's Alien. I think
Yes.
that goes without saying.
No, I'd agree with that, yeah.
But yeah, now this is where a lot of our lists are going to differ. So my number 3 is going to be a film that I feel like a lot of people wouldn't think of as science fiction, but it totally is, and that's A Clockwork Orange. This is Stanley Kubrick's film from
Interesting.
1971, and it is a very society-based story about in the near future, and about how it's obviously, I feel like this film just bothers me on a real intellectual level because of how violent it is and how disturbing so much of it is, especially in the first half of the film, where Alex, played by Malcolm McDowell, is just such a bastard. Just does every bad and wrong thing you could possibly do.
Yeah, dude, straight up evil.
As a dude, as a person at that age, and all the droogs are just total scum.
Right.
And then halfway through, that whole shift changes where Alex is taken and put in that government experiment where he suddenly is completely cured of his violent tendencies and falls ill when he ever considers doing those things, and the rest of society is now taking their violent tendencies out on him and some of those other guys, and it's just it's a very thought-provoking story. It's a very surreal film just because of how Stanley Kubrick directs it. It's so much of it is disturbing, like I said, but it also has a lot of funny moments. Just a lot of weird imagery happening all around the film, and all I can say is that singing in the rain scene, one of the hardest scenes I've ever had to watch in any movie ever. It's just, yeah, if you haven't seen A Clockwork Orange and if you like Stanley Kubrick, absolutely check it out.
I'll
Yes.
never watch it again. It was too much.
Oh,
Yeah, no,
you've seen
it's
it?
it's
Okay.
very intensive. Yeah.
That would
Yeah.
not be my movie for me. I'd be like,
No,
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 it's-
no,
you do
not need to
It's
check
not
it
for the
out
faint
now.
of heart, but
Yeah,
it's
look up trigger warnings for sure before watching it.
Yeah, true.
There's a lot of shit that happens.
Here's your trigger warning.
Next up on my list is a one of the most atmospheric science fiction films of the 70s and happened in the same year that Alien did, and that is Stalker, directed by Andrei Tarkovsky. This is the film that I was mentioning or hinted at, where it's like, I feel like a lot of A24 films or a lot of those types of modern films now owe a lot to Tarkovsky's work on Stalker and Solaris and a lot of his other films. Mainly, I felt so much of Annihilation when I first saw this movie, just because of the atmosphere of it all, the kind of the main, just like the main setup of the film, where these characters are leaving this this one location in the city that is just sepia tone. It's ugly, it's depressing looking, and they go to this place called the Zone, where supposedly all their deepest desires will come true, and it goes from this ugly sepia tone to kind of this more colorful tone, but still very depressing looking, and still very blue, and it's just a very meditative film because of how long it is. It's very slowly paced. It's definitely not for everyone, but it's just it puts you in an entirely different world, like a film like Annihilation does. And it's the shimmer, I feel like, is very similar to the Zone in Stalker, and it's just a really interesting and very a very provocative film. So number 5 on my list for the 70s is going to be a horror sci-fi remake, and I think probably the best of the 70s, and that is Invasion of the Body Snatchers, directed by Philip Kaufman, and the stars the now the late great Donald Sutherland, may he rest in peace. And this is there's been a lot of body snatcher adaptations in film, but I feel like most people consider this 1979 version to be the best because I feel like a lot of the other versions of the story, kind of the rules of the body snatchers are very very messy and very complicated, where in this film I feel like it makes the most sense and it's the most easy to follow, and it's a very eerie film in how so much of it is done. The acting is phenomenal. Donald Sutherland. It also has the great Leonard Nimoy in the film as well, and a few other recognizable faces, including another Alien star, Veronica Cartwright. And it has probably one of the most terrifying endings in film history with that thing right there. And it's just the ending is just it just leaves you in a very uncomfortable and very unsettled mood, just because of that's how the film ends, and there's no music in the credits. The last thing you hear is that horrifying screaming sound from Sutherland, now turned into a body snatcher, and it's just you feel completely alone now as the credits are rolling. So yeah, Body Snatchers, it's in my opinion definitely the best Body Snatchers film, and I think it's a predecessor to what we eventually get with a bunch of the 80s sci-fi horror. So yeah,
I've actually not seen Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
it's awesome.
Yeah, I
I've
like
seen
it.
the-
It's really good.
So
I've
great.
seen the 2006 one though, and it wasn't that good.
No, that one sucks. With Nicole
Invasion?
Kidman.
Yeah, and Daniel Craig.
Yeah, that one sucks.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
really
it's all
bad.
right. It's entertaining at least.
I feel like that was my thing. Where it's like it kept all these Body Snatchers adaptations change up the rules almost every time, and I just don't like how it was directed. I feel like it was. I hated the ending, especially.
Understandable. Okay.
Yeah, definitely pales in comparison to
Oh, yeah.
the '79 version.
If there's some other movies that are not mentioned when we're all done, I'll mention some other movies that are considered like top movies.
Okay.
But that's if nobody else mentions them. Like we said, we already talked to Alien and Star Wars. Alien was my number one. Star Wars was number two. Number three, I'm gonna go with Close Encounters.
Yeah, I was very close to putting that on there.
One of the quintessential UFO movies.
That's
Yep.
funny because that's actually number 3 on my list too. So what are the odds of that?
It was my number 3 as well, but I ended up replacing it
Let's
later.
go, Dylan. Yes.
I didn't want to put any superhero movies on my list, so Superman is obviously off my list.
Yeah, I didn't
Um,
put that on mine either.
Yeah.
That I count superhero movies as its own genre.
Yeah.
It was my first time watch for me this year.
Yeah,
of Close
That's
Encounters.
crazy.
Superman?
Yeah.
Close Encounters?
70. I
Oh,
thought
Close
you
Encounters.
said
Yeah, it was my
okay,
first time
okay.
watch for me. And the fact there are 3 different cuts of the film, I'm actually interested in checking out 2 other cuts of the film.
I was
And,
actually.
and let's not. I think it takes place in Muncie, Indiana, doesn't
It
it?
takes place
It
in
does.
Indiana, yeah.
Sure,
Yeah, which is
I
very
think
cool.
it takes place in Muncie,
Oh,
if
okay.
I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
but
And
I really enjoyed
shout
it.
out to my Muncie Ball State people.
Yeah.
Indiana podcast represent.
Yeah, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I love the visuals as usual. It looks incredible. It's not gonna be for everybody. It can be pretty slow at times.
I mean,
But-
it's Spielberg.
Of course,
Come on.
it's Spielberg. He
it's-
can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, it's a Spielberg movie. It is very well crafted.
Yeah.
Yeah, the visuals stand out.
Yeah.
They really stand out. They're a little bit dated now, some of them, but it still worked really well back then.
hmm
And it kind of gave that mystery vibe of like a UFO conspiracy type thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
It worked really well for what it was.
And it was also what Spielberg does in pretty much all movies like this is still make you care so much about the family dynamic
Yes.
and family that's falling apart that is kind of brought together by the end of it. I watched after watching a couple Spielberg documentaries, I feel like this was one of his more personal films and how it displays the family. And it's all done so well. The acting is phenomenal. Richard Dreyfuss and a few of the other cast members. Yeah, it's a great film.
I'm rewatching it this month sometime.
Nice.
Number 5, I'm gonna go with the original Mad Max.
Mm-hmm.
More action than sci-fi in this one,
Yeah.
but
Don't you mean number 4?
yeah, I thought that's what I said.
No,
You
you
said
said number
5.
5.
said
Oh
5.
no, oops. I can't count today. I feel like this one's more action than sci-fi, but it still has that post-apocalyptic dystopian feel,
Mm-hmm.
and the lore behind all the Mad Max movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't deny that George Miller knew exactly what he was doing when he made this.
Right.
He fleshed it out more later,
Yeah.
but like this, there's as much lore to this as to Star Wars. Probably, I'm sure he has.
And I feel like a lot of people discount this original Mad Max movie just because it's not like Fury Road or Furiosa.
Right.
Like,
It doesn't have
it-
like the same feel as
it-
everything else.
yeah, but it's still. I think it's still. I'd probably say it's like number 4, number 3 in my opinion. I still really enjoy how it connects with the other movies, just because it's not that kinetic, kind of thing that Fury Road did. I still think what it contributes to that, to the franchise, and just because it started everything off, and where we eventually ended up with, I think, yeah, it's absolutely a must see.
Do you guys agree with me though that even if it's not officially released, George Miller probably has as much lore for that as George Lucas had for Star
Oh,
Wars?
I'm sure he does.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Initially,
I
yeah.
could definitely see
Yeah,
that.
I would
yeah.
agree with that. Yeah.
He's probably got loads and loads of.
Yeah, he's absolutely got a Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah, for his own stuff.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
he does.
Last, a movie that was on Garrett's list. Not a movie I personally enjoy, but I can see it as one of the greats, which is Stalker.
Yep.
It bored me to death. I need to try to rewatch it, but
Don't watch it when you're about to go to bed.
No.
That's all I'll say.
yeah.
it is slow moving and it does not
Yeah.
pick up. Really.
But what I really love about the film, I mean, technically it's just, all the one take shots and how long some of the shots go. Like when they're driving in the car, like to get out of town, and like the camera's falling behind the car as it's like the car's almost like bouncing and like tilting off the railroad as it's leaving. I just love how this film is put together.
I'm glad we had the same thought though, because when I first watched it, it's like this gives me Annihilation vibes.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure Alex Garland was very much inspired by Tarkovsky's movies.
I still need to see Solaris.
Mm-hmm. Me too. And
I feel like I'll enjoy it.
yeah.
I have seen the other one, unfortunately, and it sucked.
What?
The one with George Clooney.
Oh, I've heard that's bad. And
Yeah.
that's Steven Soderbergh, which is really, really disappointing.
Yeah, I watched that when I used to get stuff from the library back early teenage years. Like, I rented that, and I was like, ugh, I hated it.
Mm. I haven't seen it, so
Yeah.
I can't really attest to it. But like, yeah, I've heard many bad things about it. So,
But then again, I was 13 at that time, too. So my taste in movies, I wasn't as well-rounded as I am now.
I think that's one of the few movies on CinemaScore to get like an F. That movie has an F CinemaScore.
Wow. So it is as bad as I remember.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
So you're not alone, truly.
But yeah, that's all I got for 70s.
Okay. I mean, we've talked about 4 of the 5 on my list. I had the
Go and put them in
original-
order, though, for everybody.
Yeah. So originally, my number 1 was the original Star Wars. Number 2 was Alien. Number 3 was Clockwork Orange. Number 4 was Mad Max. My number 5 though is Rocky Horror Picture Show. Yeah.
All right.
Well,
I'm just a sweet transvestite.
from Transylvania.
Have you ever
it's
seen?
so good.
Have you ever seen this in a theater, like with a?
No,
Okay.
I want to.
Me too.
But I also know that there's like I know that in a lot of theaters they also ask of audience participation. I don't want to show up like ready for it and then nobody else does it. So that's like the main reason why I haven't done it yet. Because the Strand hosts it, I think, like every year.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to go there to go do it, and I just, oh no, I'm terrified.
And it's also a musical.
yes, it's really good.
Yeah, I probably like it.
It's another like Killer Clowns. It's a cult classic, where it
True.
wasn't appreciated in its time, but now it's got this massive audience surrounding it, which sucks because Rocky Horror hasn't gotten the same treatment that all these other impactful movies that
I
gained
feel like-
appreciation
I
over
feel
the
like
years.
it's getting to that point. Like,
Well, I mean, it is,
yeah.
but it hasn't. We're for these movies that are so glorified. Well, not. I wouldn't say glorified. That makes it sound like they don't appreciate or that they don't deserve the appreciation. The ones that are most commonly celebrated, talked about. Rocky Horror is getting up there, for its time. Rocky Horror is getting that kind of appreciation. It's getting to that level, but they haven't done anything with it in a long time. Like they did the reboot kind of back in 2016, 2017.
What I'm familiar because the Broadway show I think or the musical, like the theatrical version, I feel like is becoming just as popular as the movie. But I can't remember the reboot.
Well, so they did a live showing the same way that they did Grease Live, where in the live showing of it, they had Adam Lambert, they had Laverne Cox, they had I'm spacing on like everybody
Is that like
right now.
what they did with the Peter Pan live?
It's
that
kind of like the same thing.
I am not a fan because I watched A Christmas Story live and I was
I want to know about
horrified
Christmas
by
Story
it.
Live. I haven't
Oh,
seen
it was
Christmas Story Live.
awful. It was so bad.
No, this was like legit good. Like I
Okay.
really liked it.
Okay.
I think it was one of the ones that have worked. It's gotten stuff like that. But it hasn't really been touched otherwise since like 2011, where I got like a Blu-ray printing in 2011, but nothing else has happened. They haven't like reestablished it on streaming platforms. They haven't.
That's true.
They haven't given it a new printing for 4K or anything. Like they kind of just left it alone, so fans are kind of just sitting on it. There's nothing new else coming out about it.
I feel like
it's
that's
super underappreciated.
I feel
still.
like that's a way to keep it at that cult status where like it's not so mainstream. Like I feel like The Room has become too mainstream where like
Okay.
everyone knows what The Room is now, and I feel like that kind of takes away from the enjoyment of it when you talk about it. Like everyone has pretty much knows what The Room is now, so that cult level status for it is kind of diminished, where I feel like Rocky Horror, they're doing all that to kind of still keep it at that cult level, so it doesn't become like The Room did or some of these other bad, like cult bad movies.
Yeah, no,
So-
I
and
get that.
I'm not saying Rocky Horror is a bad movie. I don't think so really, in not in the level that The Room is,
Mm.
but still, yeah, that you got to throw some campy sci-fi in there. So-
Yeah. And this definitely is packed with it. I mean, it's got a really, in my opinion, it's got a really good script for what it is. Like they knew exactly what they were doing this entire time. They knew what, kind of like what we were talking about with Star Wars, kind of like what we were talking about with Mad Max. They knew what they were making. They may not have known the impact, but
And there's
you can see like they knew what was going on the entire fucking time.
and I
They
still,
put it together.
I still don't think there's another movie like it. Like
There's not.
It's its own unique thing.
Yes.
I've not seen it.
Yeah, it's hard to
Yeah.
match. Like
Uh-huh.
it really is.
The
It's got a
so-
lot
the
of
songs
character.
and everything.
Yeah.
It's just it's an experience watching it.
The only
For
thing I
sure.
could think of that might be close that I've seen is Repo the Genetic Opera.
Yeah,
I've not
that's
seen
close.
that. What
That's
is
close.
that?
You've not seen that?
No.
It's really good.
It's from the producers of Saw.
Yeah.
It's a future set slasher. They have you seen the movie Repo Men with Jude Law?
I don't think I have.
So there's this company that sells artificial organs,
Yeah.
and if you get behind on your payments, they send a Repo Man to come rip it out of you.
Yeah.
It's a rock opera horror movie.
It's super cool.
Okay.
It's got Paris Hilton in it. It's got
I don't Alexa, the girl from Spy
Vega.
Kids.
Alexa Vega. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's got there's another one.
I don't
It's the
rem-
dad.
Yeah, I
'cause
don't
he was
know
in
his
Buffy.
name. Okay.
I forget what his name is. I think of his name like every week. Anthony Head, Sir Anthony Head.
Okay.
He plays like the main Repo Man in it. Yeah, he plays this like he's kind of like his Repo Man identity is like a secret identity almost. So he's like trying to like save his daughter this entire time, and he or quote unquote save his daughter this entire time. It's good. I would recommend checking it out. I
I'll
think
look
it's
into it.
super well done.
I must warn you though, it was panned by critics though.
Oh,
They
it was
didn't care
more
about
than
it.
panned.
Oh, I'm sure it was.
It was more than panned. Budget was $8.5 million. Didn't even make 200,000 at the box office.
Yeah. It's another like cult smash.
I've got the DVD if you want to borrow it, because if not, you got to watch it with ads on Tubi.
I'm fine with that.
One other thing that I wanted to mention about Rocky Horror before we move on to John's list, or at least what remains of John's list at this point.
Yeah,
we can skip
and-
John.
I do have one more I do want to talk about.
Yeah. But before we move on to that, one other casting that I remember from the Rocky Horror Live showing was the person who plays, or the guy who plays Riff Raff in it, was the originator for the role of Spider-Man in Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark, the Broadway musical.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to
Yes,
throw that little factoid out
Yes,
there.
Spider-Man
The
was a
horror-
musical.
The horror that could have been with him.
Listen, it's good on paper.
What, the Spider-Man
Horrible,
musical?
yeah. Good on
Okay.
paper. Horrible, horrible.
Oh,
In
man.
fact,
I heard it's bad.
Yeah, a lot of people were injured. I think that there was one or two people
Oh,
that
no.
died.
And a lot of it is just really cringy. Like
Yeah.
the actual musical parts of it.
A lot of the design,
it's
at
not
least, yeah.
good. Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
really not good.
There were
Rogers,
things
the
that were
musical.
cut from it that bummed me out a bit. What?
It could be worse. It could be Rogers the musical.
Shut the fuck up! I still
And
want to see
also,
that.
all the Green Goblin stuff. Ooh, God.
The Green Goblin
doesn't-
stuff was.
Yeah.
I wasn't. the design was very obviously Broadway
Yeah.
in the fact that they didn't know what the fuck to do.
It
but-
only that design could only work in Broadway.
Yes,
Would not work
1000%.
Anywhere else.
I would love to see it come to comics. I will say that. But only because of how fucking bad it is.
Yeah.
I think that would
I
be
need
really
to find
funny.
this musical on YouTube.
Huh?
I need to find this on YouTube.
Yeah, there's a
Spider-
few
Spider-Man?
versions of it on YouTube.
Okay.
I hope that you could find the one where they have the giant Spider Woman descending from the ceiling. Because they ended up cutting that out.
Yeah.
I hope you could find that one.
Dale, you need to send this to me so I can watch that.
Yes.
Oh, you can find it.
Yeah, I can
just
find
look on
it.
YouTube.
Yeah, it's really not that hard. Just look up Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark musical. on
Okay, I
YouTube.
would do that.
Yeah, you can
Okay,
find
so yeah. Star Wars, absolutely agree. Alien, I absolutely agree. Close Encounters of the Kind, absolutely agree. Those three movies are great. Like I said, now we got 4, so I'm gonna throw in just one more. And it's a movie that I absolutely love, despite the fact it's very silly and it's considered a guilty pleasure movie, but I had a blast with it. Moonraker, the James Bond film.
Okay.
it. Yeah.
I had so much fun with that movie. There's a funny story behind the making of this film. Okay, so when The Spy Who Loved Me came out, you saw at the end credits, next movie for your eyes only. But then the British guy said, I got a great idea. Star Wars came out in theaters, so let's turn James Bond into a space film and turn him to outer space. It's a great idea for a movie.
That's actually what happened. Like they,
And
Pretty
that's
much.
what they
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
They actually made Moonraker. And, yeah, fans went to go see it. No surprise. It was a big hit. No surprise, because people want to see James Bond in space. It's not just because of the women.
people want to see James Bond. Period.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
exactly.
True.
And as of right now, Roger Moore is my favorite Bond. Controversial, I know. But yeah, Moonraker was very fun. I absolutely had a blast watching it. And there's something else that's funny. Jaws.
Yep.
The kids wrote a letter to one of the people that want to make Jaws kid friendly because he was too scary in The Spy Who Loved Me. So they turned him into sort of a cartoon.
Oh, he is.
Okay.
And they let him
Okay.
talk. They let Jaws talk. when in the first one he didn't talk. So
We are definitely doing an episode on James Bond sometime this year.
we have to.
yeah,
We're gonna rank
but
all
yeah,
of them.
I find that
it's
so
required.
I find that so
And
funny that
Moonraker's
was
gonna be my number 1.
I found that so funny that was
Said
gonna be
no
the
one
case. But yeah, but it was gritty in my face. I was having so much fun watching that movie. It was such a blast. Visually, it looks amazing. Especially, I mean, it's a Star Wars clone with James Bond. What did you
I
expect?
mean, they put money into it. For
They
sure.
did,
Yeah, yeah.
and it worked. So there you go. That's the only movie I got for you.
Before we jump
okay.
into the 80s, I'll throw some on the list that we didn't mention because these are movies I have not seen, but I know they helped shape sci-fi in the 70s.
Yeah.
The first one I'm going to mention became a very well-known TV show on HBO over the last few years, Westworld.
Yeah,
Ah.
I have seen Westworld, the movie. Yeah, it's not something I personally love, but it's a really fun movie. It feels very much like a predecessor to Jurassic Park because one, it is Michael Crichton, and it does have a kind of similar setup. Just instead of dinosaurs, it's like an evil cowboy that's chasing after you,
Yeah.
or evil cowboy robot.
This next one was a sports movie,
Oh,
and they remade it in 2002, which was horrendous.
Oh,
Which one?
Best part of it is the song "Boom" by POD. That's
Uh-huh,
the only
yeah,
good part
yeah.
of the movie.
yep.
Rollerball.
Oh,
Doesn't this have or is that Death Race 2000 that has Stallone in it?
I don't know. Let me
Stallone's
look.
not in.
Stallone
Rollerball,
was
is he?
Running Man, wasn't he?
No, that's
No.
Arnold.
Oh, is it?
I feel like that Death Race 2000 has Stallone
Yes.
in it.
And that was the next movie I was going to mention.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Death Race.
Another
spawned-
movie that got remade into a kind of shitty remake.
I didn't mind it.
It's Paul W.S. Anderson. You all know how I feel about him.
Yeah,
yep.
it's a very flashy, no substance movie.
Absolutely. Almost none of Paul W.S. Anderson's movies have substance. Absolutely.
They're all flashy video game style movies.
Except for
Event
Event Horizon. But I still stand by Event Horizon's not, like, objectively, it's not a great movie, but
I really enjoy it. These next three are more prevalent. THX 1138.
Yeah,
Yes.
I couldn't really get into it myself, but I watched it just because George Lucas.
Right.
I've been wanting to watch that.
It was
It's
it
really
was it was hard for me to get into. It is slow, and but like technical aspects, it looks great. It sounds great, and I would recommend checking it out.
Soylent and Green.
Yes, yes. Just everyone knows the ending at this point, but
I
yeah.
actually don't. So
Oh, you don't know the ending.
no. So maybe I'll actually be surprised.
It has one of the most famous lines in movie history. That's all I'll tell you.
Last one I'm seeing a lot about. I think it's the anniversary, coming up next year, I believe. Logan's Run.
Yeah, this is one
Oh.
I still want to check out.
I don't think I'll like it.
I've always heard a ton about this movie, and I don't really know that much about it. And that's what's made me want to really check it out.
That makes me not want to watch it. Like what I know about it, it just sounds like something I wouldn't like.
Okay. Still.
But yeah, that was the 70s. Next, we will move on to the 80s.
Heck yeah.
Sci-fi is now really blowing up,
Yep.
thanks to mostly to Star Wars and Alien.
Mhm.
We get the first intro kind of into cyberpunk movies in this
Yep.
decade.
Lots more action-oriented science fiction
Yes.
films.
A lot more science fiction in general. It's just this is the boom.
And more comedy interjected in science fiction,
Yeah.
which you hadn't really seen before, really.
This is the boom of science. I might venture to say this is the greatest decade for science fiction in terms of movies.
At least the most packed.
Okay.
True,
Or, of like
true.
absolute hits.
I don't know if I would say greatest, but definitely one of the most popular.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say 2010s is the greatest for me, just because it's the science fiction I like.
I personally prefer some of the 70s science fiction just because I'm more into the indie side of like that kind of thing. But yeah, at least like 5 of these are my favorite movies of all time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only reason I'll say, without spoiling a few weeks from now, is that 2010s is the best, is because you get movies like Interstellar.
Yeah.
And obviously Interstellar. That's more of a...
And because we're like we grew up in the 2010s.
Right, yeah. So yeah, you want to start us off again?
Yeah.
And,
number 10.
And do you mind if I go second after that?
Go for it.
Okay.
We'll
All right, Garrett.
reverse around.
All right, Garrett, go ahead.
So I feel like we're gonna have a lot of similar choices, but I feel like
They'll be in different order.
yeah. Number 10 is a movie we've already kind of talked about. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I watched this movie for the first time like 3 years ago in college, and I've always heard about this movie, and I've never really heard people like say it's great, but I've always wanted to check it out just because that title, like, it has probably the greatest title of all time. I mean, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. How could you not want to watch that? And
I can give you a reason.
I personally really, aside from just obviously this movie is meant to be super campy and super goofy, and that's the reason why I think it works so well.
Yeah,
because
agreed.
it completely embraces the goofiness of its premise. It completely embraces all of the things that you could do with this concept, and how the clowns work and their weapons. I mean, this movie has what popcorn and cotton candy as a weapon. I mean, come on. But
Don't
no,
forget about the pies.
it's just a really cheesy, goofy, fun movie, and I'm so glad this is getting so much more of a following now, and I feel like a lot more people actually know about it and have seen it. So yeah, that I feel like each of my top 10 entries in this list offer a different facet into what made the 80s such a unique time for science fiction.
Yeah.
Because there's just so much types of science fiction that you have in the 80s. And next up at number 9 is had to put a science fiction comedy in here, and my personal favorite of that decade is Ludicrous Speed, Spaceballs.
Yes.
This obviously the Mel Brooks parody of the space opera Star
I need
Wars,
to
Star
watch
Trek.
that.
You have not seen Spaceballs?
No.
Are you
No.
shitting me?
No,
not saying anything.
Oh my God.
I've been
You've
so
not
busy.
seen Spaceballs.
Uh-oh.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Are you
Uh-oh.
serious?
Uh-oh. We're both
Come
guilty.
on, man.
We are both guilty.
Dude,
This-
it's Mel Brooks.
I just saw Young
Everyone-
Frankenstein for the first time like 3 months ago.
Everyone in my age group that I know until now has seen
Dylan's like, I'm
Spaceballs.
done.
I'm actually older than you, though.
Fucking
True,
walk out
true.
if the camera wouldn't catch me.
still, like,
Jesus.
Spaceballs, this movie is... Apparently, this movie has a 52% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's such bullshit.
Why? This movie is fucking awesome. This movie is hilarious. It has... I love Mel Brooks. I love this cast. Darth Helmet, one of the greatest stupid villains of all time. Everyone works so well. Rick Moranis.
Yeah.
All those guys do such a great job. Misty John Candy. This movie, it's not the deepest. It's not the most sophisticated comedy in the world. It's not probably. It's probably not Blazing Saddles or even Young Frankenstein level, but still, I love this movie and I watch it all the time. And I watched it all the time as a kid.
We are
fucking
going to
good.
get shot after this episode is over.
You might deserve it.
Suck.
I actually didn't enjoy Young Frankenstein that much either.
Are you?
I loved Young
Son of a
Frankenstein.
bitch.
How dare you? Shut up.
But,
Fraberka.
okay, I'll say I enjoyed it. It was not as funny as people made it out to be.
I mean,
I disagree.
It's
okay.
but
yeah,
that's
all right.
kind of like. I feel like when our age group watches Young Frankenstein, they're expecting something like Scary Movie or comedy like that. But this was back in like 1973, so
I was expecting something more slapstick, like the Three Stooges.
it's not. It's what makes. I can go on and on about what makes Young Frankenstein so great, but and Blazing Saddles too.
We might do
But,
that for review rewind if that's even possible.
But
We might have to
Honestly,
do that.
we're down
it's
for it.
comedy that works on not the level that most other parodies work, and that's why I feel like the parody genre is fucking dead now because so many movies just go for the obvious jokes.
Yeah.
And
Superhero movie, disaster
and
movie.
all those movies.
Yeah.
God.
All right. So anyway, so what's number 8 on your list?
Number 8, Your Move, Creep, RoboCop. Yeah, this.
I haven't seen that one either. I know. I'm missing out. I know.
Damn it.
John,
Okay,
have you ever seen a man get shot in the dick?
Or have you ever seen a man get shot to like 1,000 pieces? Well, RoboCop has all of that for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, RoboCop is not only just a really amazingly cool premise that every 8-year-old would love, but it also is a satire of that kind of the commercialism. And of course, Paul Verhoeven, this was a huge theme with him in that almost every science fiction movie he made, it was very much a satire of the kind of movie that anyone else would make, and he kind of made fun of and satirized everything that RoboCop was very much a play on the toy boom of the 80s, where everything was being made into a kid's toy, and RoboCop takes a more deeper look into that at kind of the humanity of the part man and part machine kind of thing going on with what's Alex Murphy is the character's name.
What other sci-fi movies has this dude done? Because
Total Recall,
Okay.
Starship Troopers.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see
Yeah.
where I'm getting that
Yeah.
from.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, RoboCop is just an amazingly clever, funny, fun action film that has a good sense of humor and just works on so many levels that you wouldn't expect it to work if you'd never seen it before and you're watching it for the first time.
I'll tell you what. Every time you say a movie that I've never seen before, I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
Great.
Yeah, it's the better tactic, John. I'm going to tell you that firsthand.
So there are number 7. There's going to be a couple horror movies on this list, but the first one I'm going to mention is David Cronenberg's The Fly. this is one of the grossest movies that you could watch from this time period.
Yeah, that's
Just
true.
because of this is obviously with Cronenberg, who is famous for doing body horror.
Yeah.
This is a body horror that happens over the course of the entire movie. It doesn't happen right away. It shows Jeff Goldblum as a brilliant scientist who makes this teleportation device, and at first it seems to work, and then over the course of the movie he realizes that a fly got into the machine, and he's slowly becoming a human-fly hybrid. And over the course of the film, you see that transformation happen, and it's amazing. Yeah, Jeff Goldblum, what's her name? Gina Davis. Both
love
these
Gina
two are
Davis.
great in this film. This is one of my favorite Jeff Goldblum performances. He takes his usual Jeff Goldblum awkwardness and very, egocentric kind of
Super charismatic.
demeanor, but he goes through such a transformation, and you absolutely buy it, how he performs it in the film. And Gina Davis brings a lot of great humanity to it all, and concern for Jeff Goldblum's Seth Brundle. Next up is E.T. Of course, had to put this on here. One of Spielberg's most famous films ever that he's made. And if you don't cry, if you are not crying at the end of this movie with John Williams music,
Shut
and-
up.
Really?
He said it was
watch
overrated.
this-
Don't say a word.
You
Shut
can watch
it.
this film and you don't cry at the end?
Yes, I did say it was overrated, John.
And you're wrong.
Wow.
You are wrong.
I mean, to some extent, I can see why it could be overrated, but it's E.T. And we've had so many films try to replicate that E.T. formula since this movie came out, whether it's Iron Giant, whether it's Super
Even
8,
Gooby.
Even Grogu kind of is.
pretty much.
Kinda,
and
yeah,
Earth,
yeah.
Earth to Echo.
I tried
which
to find a
was found
Grogu shirt in my
footage.
closet. I don't know why I
Um,
couldn't find it. It's weird.
This
How
film
could you
is
not? They made, like, they've made, like,
this film's
3,000.
influence is still being felt today, and Spielberg kind of still, I think, has done the best version of this kind of formula.
I agree.
And of course, I forgot to mention Lilo and Stitch. Obviously, that was this film was a huge inspiration for that.
Yeah.
Obviously, love the relationship between Elliot and E.T.
I did too.
All the young cast in this film is freaking incredible. Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
What's the Henry Thomas, who is becoming very big now. Dee Wallace, of course. It's just, this is a film that's very emotional, and John Williams gives one of his best musical scores he's ever given. So yeah, E.T. Phone Home. So, wasn't even a joke, really. I was just quoting.
I know. It was just like how you said it. That's what made it funny.
I wish we have E.T. coming out to the room and shot Matthew in the head and said, "E.T., you fall down." So keep your mouth shut about E.T. It's a great movie. Next what?
E.T. arrives, pulls out
number
the twin
6.
Glocks.
I feel like this is going to be a very popular choice on this list. One of the most influential science fiction films ever made, and it did not do very well when it first came out.
Sorry, wait, what did you
Blade-
say? I'm sorry.
What?
What did you say? I'm sorry, which movie?
This movie is probably going to be on a lot of our lists because it's so influential, and it didn't do very well when it came out.
I thought we were at number
Blade
5.
Runner.
Okay.
I thought it was number 5.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Yeah. Number 5.
Yeah.
So yeah, Blade Runner. This film was kind of what really got the cyberpunk boom, the cyberpunk movement started. I mean, so many futuristic films that you see now all owe everything to Blade Runner.
Yeah.
The set design, the music by Vangelis in this film is incredible. It's just, and all the metaphors and philosophy that you see in the film has definitely been carried over for so much of science fiction. And in my opinion, it birthed an even better sequel decades later.
Yep.
But still,
Agreed.
the original Blade Runner is phenomenal. And it also has one of the greatest endings of all time, with the late great Rutger Hauer delivering one of the most powerful monologues and soliloquies ever delivered on the silver screen. So, number 4, another film that's going to be popular in this list. I feel like these next 5 are all going to be on here, but this is a James Cameron film, and that's going to be Aliens. I think this is my favorite film that he's done in this decade. One of my favorite films and one of my favorite sequels ever made. Yeah, I cannot talk enough good things about this film. It's iconic in every way. Sigourney Weaver just, so good. Every cast member in the film is likable. Every cast member is memorable, and everyone just has, everyone has great chemistry with each other, and the alien effects are just top notch. The Alien Queen, in my opinion, might be the greatest practical effect ever achieved in
Agreed.
cinema, and it's phenomenal. Number 3, Great Scott, Back to the Future. Another one of my favorite films ever made. In my opinion, the greatest climax in any film ever made.
Yes.
I feel like the climax of this film does not get talked about enough for how perfectly everything is set up and everything is paid off. But everything before that, almost every aspect of the script in this movie is just perfection. Every character feels well realized. Every character has become iconic in this film. Michael J. Fox, of course, as Marty McFly, is amazing. Christopher Lloyd is just unforgettable as Dr. Brown. Crispin Glover is just one of the funniest awkward characters ever put on screen. Just this film is legendary. It's just iconic, and it can never be beaten. And I dread the day that they try to go back to this franchise again. I just
Go back
reboot
to the past,
it.
you mean?
they will. I bet they will soon. And I'm gonna hate to see the day, because they will
Well-
never
Yeah, it'll
ever. Nothing will ever come close to the
No, it's a
perfection
perfect movie.
that
There-
goes back to
There
the
are a
really
couple
can't touch it.
YouTubers that say they might see a remake of this movie, and I'm just gonna
Fuck
leave it at
them.
that.
Fuck them. Yeah. One of my favorite musical scores of all time, Alan Silvestri, just gets me pumped every time I hear it.
Agreed. Same.
So, number 2 is probably my favorite horror film ever made, and I've talked about this film a lot. That is John Carpenter's The Thing. My favorite John Carpenter film. Probably, I said The Alien Queen was probably the greatest practical effect, and I still stand by that, but probably number 2 is any effect in John Carpenter's The Thing. It is just a marvel, the effects work in this film. It's unparalleled, and the fact that they, in the reboot of this film that they did in 2011, the hideous CGI that they tried, just it's embarrassing compared to
I
the
actually do like the film, though.
I hate it. I can't
still haven't
stand
seen the
it.
2011 one.
Yeah, but this film is just a masterpiece in every conceivable way. I love the moodiness of the film. John Carpenter just directs the hell out of this film. Kurt Russell is fantastic. All the actors do a great job.
Keith David.
Yeah, Keith David is awesome. It's just
My man.
a really, everything about the film is just, I really struggle to find any weak point of the film, because I don't think this film has any. It's just, you feel the setting of the film, you feel the cold, you feel the tension every time the characters get together and they're trying to figure out what's going on and who's who, and and how many people are infected by this thing. It's just a suspenseful, masterful film in every way. Just perfect. Number 1, many people consider this the greatest sequel ever made, and I cannot deny that testament. The Empire Strikes Back. Probably, yeah. my favorite sequel of all time is The Dark Knight, but I cannot deny that The Empire Strikes Back almost takes the cake, because it is just, I mean, when people think of great sequels and building up what worked about the original and surpassing it and making it even better, The Empire Strikes Back took everything that was great about Star Wars in 1977 and just took it to a whole nother level and gave us some of the most iconic movie moments in history.
Yes.
It's just a amazing film and has everything great that science fiction did in the 1980s. So yeah.
Johnny boy, what you got?
Do you have a gun in your pocket so you can kill me for most of these movies I have not seen? Okay.
Boom.
That was a joke. That was a joke, by the way. Okay. I got a bunch.
I mean, I've got a knife in the kitchen.
Bunch of sequels on this list because those are the 10 sci-fi movies that I have seen. Most of them are sequels, and the other one that does not have sequels. So just want to give you guys a heads up. I'm actually a little surprised about most of them that you didn't even mention.
There were a lot of great choices, but those were the 10 that I feel like I didn't want to put more than one movie in a franchise. And
that's understandable.
I kind of wanted, like I said, I wanted each movie to represent a different facet of the 80s science fiction.
Okay. That's understandable. Totally understand that. Okay, so my number 10 on the list is the first Star Trek movie on the list, Star Trek 3: The Search for Spock. Now, if you want to hear my full thoughts on the movie, we talked about the Star Trek rankings over on the video, so go check it out. So not to repeat myself, fun concept, really enjoyed it. The villain is great. This movie is definitely a lot of fun for Star Trek fans, and so yeah, definitely enjoyed this movie.
I almost put Star Trek 2 on this list. It was very close to making it.
Almost did too.
Mm-hmm. And
You guys, you didn't?
It was very hard not to, believe me.
Yeah. Okay, but yeah, Search for Spock at number 10. When speaking of Star Trek Direct the Con, oh boy, people are going to kill me. It's number 9. Okay. I know that people said it's the best Star Trek movie. I know Paul says the best Star Trek movie, and a lot of people said the best Star Trek movie. Totally understand that, but when I went through all my Star Trek movies and I watched it for the very first time, it was not my number one personal favorite. So,
agreed.
So there you go. And Dyllan was about to get killed after that episode. So
Dyllan had it like close to last.
No, he had it 10. I remembered.
By far, it is not my favorite. By far.
Yeah, but I still enjoyed it for what it was. It coming in number 9.
If anybody wants Dyllan's address, I could give it to you. And
Fuck you!
Well, Matthew, your number 1 is Into Darkness, so you
and I respected that.
You have some criticism.
Totally respected that.
I do respect it, but he makes a good point.
Yeah. So that comes in at number 9. Now coming in number 8. Now this is a sci-fi movie. I had to do some research to see if this next movie was a sci-fi film, and it is. So it's not just a horror and an action movie; it's also sci-fi. Predator is on the list.
Yeah, I almost put Predator.
Yeah, shocker. I don't have this one in the top 5, but this is my first time watch, and that's the reason why it's not higher, because it's my first time watch. Love the movie,
watch it.
Yeah. I loved it, though. It's fantastic. Arnold Schwarzenegger is great. The cast is great. Iconic line that you and I just did when we did our Alien Predator line, which was the best thing we ever did. That was awesome.
We still need to get that video of you and Paul.
And I got it.
Oh, yeah.
And I said in that video, Dyllan, that to make it even better, we're going to print out Carl Weathers' face and put it onto you.
Yes! Yes! Let's do it!
That would be fun.
I'm all for it.
But the Predator is absolutely great. Number 7, my personal favorite 80s Star Trek movie, The Voyage Home, which I don't want to hear.
Star Trek movies are on here.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah, which I don't want to hear a single hate from you for saying that you do not like this whales. It's the best concept for a Star Trek movie. I'm sorry. I love it that they saved the whales. Yeah. The comedy is very funny. Shut up. The comedy is funny. The acting is great. The characters are fun. It's got great moments. And so I will love this movie to pieces till the day I die.
Yeah, I don't feel so bad about my list now. I don't feel bad about my list at all.
Okay. Like today's list or
Yeah.
your Star Wars list
This
or your Star
list.
Trek list?
That's lost.
Oh well, so maybe you should feel a
My
little
list
bad
is a
about
little
it.
better than yours, Matthew. Dylan's list was the worst
No,
list
we're
of
talking
Star
about
Trek
this
movies.
list.
This one, not this.
Oh, this
Don't
one.
drag me today.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't deserve it yet. I haven't given it my 80s list.
I'm going to respect your list no matter what, so it's going to be
appreciate
fine.
See ya, fucker.
But yeah, I love The Voyage Home. I can watch that movie over and over again many, many times.
It's very fun. I really dig it.
Yeah, I did.
I
too.
love Star Trek 4.
Yeah. All right, so that's number 7. Coming in at number 6, the only bad thing about this movie is that this did not happen 9 years ago, which was very unfortunate. Back to the Future Part 2, the movie that takes place in 2015.
You prefer this over the original?
The original is high. The original is high, actually, on the list. Yeah. I actually got 2 Back to the Future movies on the list. Spoilers. But Back to the Future Part 2, the flying cars, we're not there yet. The shoelaces all by yourself tied, we're not there yet. There was...
We are there. We are there. It's just not
The hoverboard
everywhere.
sucked, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay,
they
so we are getting there. We
Yeah,
are
we're
getting there
close.
for that one. I believe there was Video Call that also was in 2015, so at least I got
Yeah.
something that right.
No,
Oh, yeah, but Back
that
to
was
the
the
Future...
thing before 2015.
Yeah.
That's
It
true.
was.
But which I love the
Skype.
concept.
Still got it right though.
Yeah. But I love the concept. You're going into the future of 2015, what it's supposed to look like. And that's what I love about this movie.
There's a movie on my list that takes place in the future that we've already passed.
Oh,
It's on
okay.
Garrett's list.
I forget.
Yeah.
2019.
But
Oh,
but
okay.
as you said about the original, you're right. The cast is iconic. Very fun characters. Very funny. I'm a little scared to have flying cars whenever we do get a flying
I
car.
mean, they're being made right now.
Pretty much.
They
Yeah.
have concepts in Japan. I believe it's Japan.
Yeah.
But they put like test models out.
Yeah.
It's instead of wheels as 4 helicopter blades.
Oh,
I'm going
okay.
to Japan.
Yeah.
I'm gonna learn Japanese. I can do it.
Yeah, and I kid you not.
I'll
I'm,
learn to drive
I
over
kid
there.
you not. I'm praying to Jesus Christ to please protect me so I do not die in a flying car. But anyway,
To be fair, if you got rear-ended in a flying car, you're both going down, quite literally.
but then again, though, I was
Sugar,
saying,
we're going down swinging.
but then again, though, I was safe when I went on a plane for the first time when we went to Texas. So we were very protected, and the people there did a great job up there. So anyway,
well, you didn't fly on Boeing, so.
yeah. But Back to the Future Part 2, I absolutely loved it. Aliens is actually number 5 on my list. Everything you said, I agree.
Yeah,
Aliens is phenomenal. E.T. is at number 4, one of the best family movies of all time. And it's one of Steven Spielberg's best. So Matthew, again, shut it.
It's not on my list. I'll tell you right now.
Oh, not surprised because you thought it was not that good. Back to the Future is at number 3 on my list. Everything you said, no surprise. What a surprise! My Star Wars movie's in the top 2. What a shocker! Number 2, Return of the Jedi. Now, people consider this like be the weakest of the trilogy, but still being amazing. Hey, it could be amazing
I
and
still love it.
and the weakest.
Yeah,
And so it doesn't
it's
matter.
still good. I agree that it's the weakest of the trilogy, but
Yeah.
it's still good.
Yeah.
Entertaining.
But I
Good
personally
job.
really, I personally like all like this. I personally like all the Star Wars movies, which includes the prequels. Who knew? But yeah, Return of the Jedi. It's very fun. It's fantastic. And also, I just love these cuddleable teddy bears that they also
yeah,
had.
the Ewoks. Yeah.
The Ewoks,
Not
they're
big on
so
the Ewoks.
they're so
Yeah, they weren't
adorable.
very big on the Ewoks in '83 either.
Like if there's a list like most adorable Star Wars characters, I would probably
Oh, it's
put
out there.
Ewoks.
they're cute.
Ewoks would be
yeah,
there.
they'll kill you in a split second.
Well,
but
yeah,
they are
true.
cute.
Yeah, Ewoks
as
would be on
cute
that
as-
list.
That's Kids Grogu.
No, not as cute as the Wookiee family in the Star Wars holidays.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Let me take that. John, you are wrong. Uncle Scratchy's number 1.
Nala is fucking hot.
yeah.
But
We still have to do that for Life Day, by
What was
the way.
the
I haven't
son's name?
forgotten.
Lumpy or something?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Lumpy.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
I kind of hope he will do the live stream on Live Day of the Star Wars Holiday Special. I'm
We're
hoping
still
we will.
doing it. I will make you guys.
Life
I will
Day is
duct tape you to
approaching.
the couch if I have
Life
to.
Day
Oh no!
is approaching.
I will watch it for
I
sure.
know you will.
Yeah.
I'll duct tape Garrett to the couch if I have to.
It's gonna be rough, dude.
It is.
But anyway, going to subject.
Garrett might need some of your stuff.
Shut up.
I no, for real, I might.
Well,
And-
damn,
and a
I've never been one
and
to
a
not
couple
share.
bottles,
So
a couple bottles of a Fireball.
you're gonna need it.
But anyway, Return to Jedi. Love the movie. Definitely another fabulous Star Wars movie. But of course, Empire Strikes Back comes in at number
I'm
one
in
on the
danger.
list,
Yeah.
which
Oh,
also
I'm in so much
one of the greatest plot twists of all
Danger, Will
time.
Robinson.
Which, first of all, I need to do an angry rant by saying spoilers because if you guys have not seen The Empire
Okay.
Strikes
Yeah,
Back,
okay.
No
what
one-
the fudge, dude?
Yes.
No one in 20 years has done a spoiler warning for this movie.
No, I've
like,
fucking seen people be mad about spoilers, about
Dude.
spoiling the fact that Vader is Luke's father.
Tommy Boy.
Exactly.
I fucking saw it last year. I
Tommy
couldn't
Boy
believe my
in
eyes.
1995 spoiled this movie, so you got no fucking excuse.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Every single fucking project ever makes the
Yeah.
joke.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
If I see one person that says, I've never seen The Empire Strikes Back, get out of here. Like, don't talk to us.
Even if you haven't, you know the fucking
Exactly.
line.
You know the
Yes.
plot twist. It's like the most popular plot twist of all time.
I don't get mad about being spoiled on a movie that's more than 6 months old. Like, at that point, it's my fault for not fucking
Yes.
watching it.
Yeah. But over
Like,
20
waited a
years,
year-
get out of here.
I waited about a year until I felt comfortable spoiling Endgame, but like,
But that was
yeah,
Endgame. There was a
yeah.
lot of build-up for that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But The Empire Strikes Back is definitely phenomenal. How did that not get a Best Picture nomination? I don't understand that. That is weird.
When stuff is on DVD or nowadays streaming, it's fair game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the original Star Wars get the Best Picture nomination, but the sequel does not get nominated. How does that work? That's so weird. But it's
That's
the
even
Oscars.
better.
What do you expect?
Academy.
It's the friggin' Oscars.
Yeah.
But there you go. Those are my top 10.
Yeah.
And there's definitely a few that I missed and I need to watch.
Clearly,
I'm gonna be in danger.
Do you want to go ahead and
I'm
go
very.
next?
Can he go, please?
Yeah, I'm very interested.
Okay.
What's on your list?
Get your pitchforks out, everybody.
How you doing, Ralph?
It's on the list. It's just not at number one.
Okay,
What?
fine.
What?
Number 10, Howard the Duck. Just kidding.
I just say.
Now I'm gonna change my list.
I should say. I have not seen this movie, and I'm not even going to bother to watch that movie.
Matthew, you
Duck
son
tits.
of a bitch.
This movie has duck tits, by the way.
Suddenly, I wish that I would have gone in place of Matthew, because I was gonna make the same fucking joke, but at number 3.
See, I can't keep a straight face. I would have let Garrett on for a few more minutes, but I can't keep a straight face.
Damn it!
No, number 10 is Killer Clowns.
I'm legit
Oh wow,
pissed.
that's funny. Okay.
Yeah, it is funny. It's clowns.
Man,
Shut up.
we're getting roasted tonight.
Yeah,
Has Paul seen this? Has Paul seen Killer Clowns?
I don't know.
He should have. I'm pretty
If
sure
he
he
hasn't,
did.
I'm gonna be very disappointed
It's one of those movies like it's on those free TV channels like
all the time.
Yeah.
like the channel 4.2 or whatever.
Mhm.
One of those public domain type
Tubi
channels.
and Plex.
Yeah.
and-
Like
yeah.
when everyone like back then, like whenever I feel like still now, like whenever people see the title and see that poster, everyone thinks that it's a fun title, but the movie sucks. Like that's really not the case. It's actually a pretty good, like really fun movie and actually really enjoyable.
Yeah.
Like yeah, as a movie on itself.
Here's where we're going to start to get a little bit ugly
What are you looking at me for?
because you're about to kill me. I had to put it on the list because I do recognize that it is a great movie. It's just not one I personally enjoy that much.
Okay.
Back to the Future.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck.
And this is me being serious. Like,
Okay.
I just didn't enjoy it that much the first time I watched it. I have not watched it since.
And yet it's on the list. That is
Yeah,
weird.
because I
Well,
recognize
yeah,
it's
because
important.
It's an
yeah.
important keystone in that
Yeah.
era.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm not the biggest fan of Alien, just like personally.
Yeah.
Like I can super appreciate what it did for film. I appreciate
Right,
everything
right.
that everybody
way
talks
that-
about.
in the same way that he put Stalker on his 70s list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This next one, Dylan, this is for you. This is for people who grew up on Scooby-Doo. I feel like this is a movie for a different age group that grew up on Scooby-Doo. I think there's something strange in the neighborhood.
Man, I was there. This is one of the ones that I was
have
stunned.
never heard
I
of
was
that.
really mad. That I didn't leave it
Ghostbusters,
off.
you've never heard of?
Oh,
What are you talking about?
you said I heard something strange in the neighborhood.
Yes!
I thought that was the
Go ahead,
title.
man. Jesus
Someone is on
Christ!
crack tonight.
What the fuck?
God almighty.
So
We watched Afterlife together.
Yes,
you
we
fucker.
did.
First, you haven't seen Spaceballs, and now
No, I've seen Ghostbusters. I have seen the first
I
one.
know, but you really
I think
did
he needs
scare
to be
me.
drug tested when he goes into
You
work
really
tomorrow.
did scare me for a minute.
I never took
That's
drugs,
saying
by the
something
way.
for me.
I never took drugs.
Oh my god.
Number 7 is RoboCop. A quintessential 80s action sci-fi movies.
Yep.
I am still sorry, guys.
The dude who plays
Give me
him.
a heart attack over here.
What is that dude's name?
Yeah, I forget his name.
I
Who?
love that. I love the main guy, Alex
RoboCop.
Murphy. Peter Weller.
Yeah.
Weller. I knew it was Peter. He played Batman
Yeah.
in The Dark Knight Returns.
Mm-hmm. Yep, he's great. He did a great job as that voice.
Yes.
He also.
Oh,
came
yeah,
out for
that's
the
right, he did,
RoboCop
yeah,
Game from
yeah.
last year.
Yeah.
Watch Dark Knight Returns. It's great. I love it.
I'm surprised nobody's mentioned this yet. Number 6 is The Terminator.
Yeah, that's on my
Yeah.
list.
See, I almost put it on the list, but I consider it more of an action movie, honestly.
It's still sci-fi, you
It's
idiots.
still absolutely sci-fi.
Okay.
I see it less as action, more horror. Like this,
Honestly,
this
yeah.
is more
That's
of
what a lot of people
this
said,
is like
too.
a slasher movie with guns.
Yes,
pretty
it
much.
is. It is very much a horror movie.
Yeah,
You got
Yeah,
some really
much
good
like
facts there,
Alien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terminator is... That was another start to the cyberpunk movement.
Yeah,
Blade Runner is
absolutely.
the first thing. And since Blade Runner didn't do too well at first, Terminator is what brought it into the mainstream, kind of, I feel. RoboCop's kind of cyberpunk, too.
Yeah.
There was a lot of cyberpunk in the 70s.
And we want you to remember,
or
this
80s.
was James Cameron. This is his directorial debut. Piranha,
it was
Piranha
not.
2 does not count.
Oh, okay.
It does not count
If you want
as
to
his
go
directorial
there.
debut.
That was number
6.
Yeah. Number 5 is Empire.
Oh!
Number 5?
What?
Go fuck yourself.
No, thank you.
You have
You're
got
gonna
to be
pull
kidding me.
You're gonna pull a bait and
It's
switch. I know you are.
somehow my
I'm
list
actually
is
not.
safe.
Okay.
My list is
Oh.
safe.
I enjoy Empire, but I enjoy these other movies more.
Okay,
Number 4 is Blade Runner.
Okay, yeah.
Mm,
I can see
okay.
that from you.
I knew you'd have this on there.
Yeah.
so.
Blade Runner, in a few weeks from now, we'll see more. Higher up, probably.
Yep.
Because I actually enjoy 2049 more.
Yeah, me too. But you gotta love and respect the original.
Right, exactly. 2049 has some of the best visuals on film.
And the original, like when you
It was
look
great
at
at its time, yeah.
yeah, and I feel like a lot of it still holds up.
It does. But 2049, like, it has the bigger budget and has the modern technology, so it really elevates those visuals tenfold compared to the original,
And the one
which was already great.
The one thing that in the original that I think is better than 2049 is the villain, Roy Batty.
Yeah,
and
he is.
Rutger Hauer. Just he's so good in this.
You know what's weird about Blade Runner? There are 3 different cuts. That's
Yeah.
what's that's
I've only seen the final cut.
that's
Me
that's
too.
what's odd about this movie. There are 3 different cuts.
These next 3 movies are all horror movies. Number 3 is Predator.
There
Okay,
you go.
yeah.
One of Arnold's top 3 performances.
Yep.
The other 2 I will get to next week. Number 2, Aliens.
Okay.
One of my favorite franchises. Well, Alien and Predator, if you kind of as one franchise, it's still one of my favorite. Because they kind of are similar franchise.
Yeah.
And number 1, this was also on your list, The Thing.
Yep.
John Carpenter had a masterpiece with this movie.
And man, it was so hard. I love John Carpenter so much, and there were 2 other movies that I would have put on here, but I wanted to stick with one movie per director.
They Live.
They Live and Escape from New York, both movies I love.
I have not seen They Live.
You have not seen They Live?
No.
Have you seen Escape from New York?
I don't think it's one I'd enjoy.
Probably not, but still, I'd watch it. It's softer sci-fi, but it's still really cool.
Yeah.
Just in how it's Escape from New York has a low budget feel to it, and
Yeah.
I feel like that's part of its charm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Dyllan.
And interesting about Escape from New York, it actually brought us to Metal Gear Solid video games
Yeah, yeah.
because of this movie, which I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Snake Plissken, one of the coolest characters in movie history.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm looking forward to your list of what I'm going to hear.
I think mine was probably the most controversial.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. I avoided putting certain movies on my list because I knew that you guys were going to say them. Still got a few of the ones that were on my list, but fuck you for my number 3.
What?
Fuck you for my number 3.
Oh, Howard.
Yes. I didn't even have like another movie listed. I was just going to say
Honestly-
Howard the Duck and move on.
Honestly, before I came here, I was really worried one of you guys was gonna put that on, like, seriously, like, not even like in a sarcastic way. Like, I had that fear going.
Good.
Be
Good.
afraid. Be very afraid.
Yeah.
That's
Not
what
to
I
worry,
like to go
Garrett. I will
for.
never watch Howard the Duck, so I'm safe.
It's over there. You should watch it with
It's
me.
insane.
No,
Like, it is
no,
just-
never going to happen.
It is bonkers in all the worst ways.
It was recently put on 4K, I think.
It was, yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
I need to
Oh,
see
why?
It's one of the greatest
Why?
movies ever.
it. It is.
Anyway.
Tim Robbins in that movie, like as the Howard, wiggy, 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 wiggy. Oh my! That man, late 5 years after. When did that movie? No, that's dude. No, that's a scene in this movie where Tim Robbins, who would later star in Shawshank Redemption,
Which I love.
that man, one of his first roles was in Howard the Duck, and he has a scene where he enters the room and looks at Howard and goes, Howard, wiggle, 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 wiggle. Dead serious.
Oh my god.
It's so fucking weird.
It's like it really is like the quintessential movies that companies want you to forget.
It is.
Yes.
In the best
entire
fucking
movie.
way.
The entire movie is just one giant what the fuck.
Yeah.
Like,
When are we gonna get that Howard the Duck and another alternate universe in the MCU?
Yeah, okay, yeah,
See,
so
That's what I was going to say. I really hope the
like-
MCU makes a Howard the Duck movie good.
like not
Under
a
spotlight.
not a CGI version, but like the animatronic.
Yes.
Okay.
Have him show up in Secret Wars.
Oh my god.
he's going to. There's no way. There's no way, because he was there for fucking Endgame.
No, I'm saying this Howard the Duck.
No,
Yes,
like
please.
a multiverse version
Yes!
of Howard the Duck.
Have Seth Green come back and voice him again. Well, he wasn't the original one.
Howard
but
the
still.
Duck multiverse movie with multiple Howards.
No way, Duck.
What the duck?
Oh god, dude,
Oh man.
I'm so for this conversation.
I mean,
you gotta save it for
I mean,
another
since
time.
We gotta talk about it.
Since Marvel's part
We
of
need a
this,
whole
since
episode
Marvel's
to-
part of the Disney family, could Darkwing Duck and Howard the Duck team up? That would be interesting.
I'd watch
We
that.
need,
Darkwing Duck.
we need a whole episode dedicated to Howard the Duck.
Yes!
Oh,
Let's do it.
God.
We can do it in November as a
Jeff-
superhero episode.
Jeffrey Jones is the villain. He talks like this in the entire movie.
We're doing that in November.
Oh my
Yes!
Guys, you have fun. I'm avoiding Howard the Duck
Coward.
like the plague.
How Coward the Duck.
Okay.
Howard the Duck.
All I have to say to you is wiggle, 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 wiggle. Look up that scene. Look up that scene. I swear to God.
I gotta give myself a point in the bank for that one. That's 49 for me.
Nice duck. Nice ducky. Me, Phil. Another classic line delivered.
Can you
by-
get to your list, please?
We're really stuck on Howard the Duck.
Good, we should be.
We don't want this to turn into Looney Tunes on Hinge Part 3. We don't want this to happen. We learned our lesson from
That's when
season
we
1.
get past midnight. That's when we get
Yeah,
to
that's
dangerous
true.
territory.
That is true. Okay.
Oh,
Oh, God.
sorry. Number 10, Wrath of Khan. I don't really want to talk about a whole lot because we have our Star Trek ranking episode.
Go watch
Plus
that
we've
episode.
Go
already
watch it,
talked
by the
about
way.
a little bit.
Please tell me you don't end up crying at the end of this movie. Like, oh, you don't cry. Really?
I don't
Okay.
either.
Really?
Yeah.
I
I also have a weird thing with crying. I have a really difficult time with it. So it's just it's like me being weird.
I
physically.
don't really. but
I cried during movies a lot,
I got
though.
emotional from a few movies I watched.
you probably cried during Twisters. But
Probably did. honestly.
No, Guardians 3 destroyed me though.
true.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
It
Okay,
is
but anyway,
very
we're at the
devastating.
content. What else you got?
Number 9, Little Shop of Horrors.
Uh,
I
Oh.
was debating putting it on the list because of the amount of like supposed horror content in it.
yeah, we had to put
But-
a musical in here. Too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Audrey too. She's. I think that she's one of the underrated villains, or he's one of the underrated villains of just the '80s. in
Feed
general.
me, feed me.
Yeah, like everybody knows Audrey too, but nobody really talks about Audrey too when it
What-
comes to like villains in.
My
80s
favorite,
movies.
my favorite song in the film is not by Audrey 2. The songs in this were fantastic, but my favorite song is the Dennis.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Say ah! Ah! Love that. I
My
love
mom
that
said
movie.
I grow up to be a dentist.
Yes, Steve Martin is amazing in that role.
Well, the fact that like the entire Bill Murray scene was just improv,
Yeah,
like that's one of the best things to ever come out of that fucking movie.
and another shout out to Rick Moranis.
Yes.
that man is a legend.
I to be serious for just like a quick second, I really wish that he felt safe enough to come back to the industry,
Man, yeah.
because he hasn't made like any public appearances really.
And he got attacked a few years
Yeah,
ago.
exactly. I think that's one of the
For
main reasons
no
why he's not
reason.
back
For
right
no
now.
real reason at
Yeah,
all.
it was just he got assaulted on the street. It
Why
was
would you,
such a bummer.
Why would you attack Rick Moranis? What could that man possibly do to you?
Fucking exactly. He's
Boy, ain't that true?
I feel bad for why he left. I'm glad that he ended up enjoying being away from the industry.
Yeah.
And it really does suck that the second that like he makes a somewhat public appearance, because it wasn't even an official thing. Like it was just he was walking out of a bodega and he got assaulted.
Yep.
It's a bummer that such an amazing person, such an amazing man would. Yeah. It's a bummer.
You find one person that doesn't like Rick Moranis.
Exactly.
You can't.
I have
Except
never
for
heard
that
of
one
anything.
weird dude who assaulted him. But
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, we digress. No, Little Shop of Horrors was was just really good. Honestly, I think that's super underappreciated when people talk about like movies from the '80s. I think that first of all, one of my favorite pieces of trivia from the '80s involves Little Shop of Horrors, just, like minorly. So it's got like a little special place for me because of that. The trivia being on the set of Aliens, the person that was originally going to play Hicks. We talked about this the other day. The guy that originally was going to play Hicks, I can't name him off the top of my head, but he was carrying around the shotgun that Hicks carries in Aliens, and he was just like messing around on the set one day, and he blew a hole in between the set of Aliens and Little Shop of Horrors because they shared a
God.
soundstage.
No.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then immediately following it, the like corporal character in it went, "Where the fuck did you get live ammo?"
God, fucking film sets back then. Jesus.
It was cocaine and live ammo, man.
Okay, speaking of cocaine, I was gonna before I put Killer Clowns, I wanted to put a movie that was a really campy science fiction movie from the '80s. Yes.
Yeah.
I was that was gonna be my number 10. That movie is awful, but it's amazing.
Yeah, I get
I have
you.
2 copies of it.
Oh, it's
I have the Blu-ray and the
Maximum
VHS.
Overdrive.
What movie did you say?
Yes.
Maximum Overdrive. It's
Oh, okay,
so-
okay.
the
Debbie
one
heard.
with
I Debbie heard of
The
it.
only movie Stephen King has directed, and it's just.
Gee, I
as
wonder
insane-
why.
It's as insane as you can imagine. It is just. Whoa, that movie is
See,
so
Stephen
fucking
King,
insane.
film director, it doesn't go together.
I don't know.
I
For
wanna
a certain
see it.
kind of audience member, it
I want to
does.
see more of what that guy directs. Jesus Christ! But
I think honestly,
I think we were all on the cocaine trip with him at that point.
when you watch the trailer to this movie, like
Okay,
Yes.
I'll do that.
yes.
I made you watch it.
Made me
like,
watch it,
It
too.
is just
Yeah.
he get obvious. So he was coked out of his mind.
He was absolutely.
Legitimately, like
That's how
that
he spent
man
the
was.
'80s.
Yeah, but I was gonna respond to you, though, about this whole the Little Shop of Horrors in an alien state. That's
Yeah.
that's the craziest behind the scenes I've ever heard.
It's one
That's
of my favorite
so weird.
pieces.
It's pretty.
Where's the documentary for that? I need to see that as a documentary because I love
It
it.
might be brought up in the Alien Blu-ray special features.
It probably did. Yeah.
That would have been cool.
All
right.
I think it was like an interview somewhere. where
Yeah, that
came
might be in the
out.
special features.
All right, so what do you got at number 8 now?
Number 8 was Terminator. We already talked about it a little bit. There's not a whole lot for me to add. It doesn't have a very special place in my heart. T2 does.
Yeah.
But Terminator, it does kind of have that. It's another case of it feels a lot different from the rest of the franchise, in certain way. Like obviously in comparison to T2, this is way more horror. This is it's also like it feels very low threat. Like I don't know if I'm putting that the right way.
I would.
Do you get where I'm going with that?
I would disagree. I feel like the Terminator in this film is scary. Like
I feel like it's self-contained.
He is.
what
like-
the thing is.
like
Yes.
yeah. The Terminator, the T-1000 and T2 is scary in a different way than this one is. Like Arnold, the way Arnold acts in this one, I feel like really adds to the intimidation of the Terminator in this film compared to the others. Like you legit are fearing this thing, despite having some classic liners like the "fuck you, asshole." But yeah,
Well, I mean,
nice
Dylan's
night,
favorite line.
Nice night for a walk.
give me your boots.
Your clothes and your
But that's
motorcycle.
Still, a fucking great line. I don't care.
your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle.
He could have fucking said it in this movie though, like off screen.
Come with me if you want to live.
Yeah, yeah. There is
Well,
that,
that's
yeah.
in the sequel, which
Well,
I
mean,
know.
We were
Yeah,
talking about it anyway.
It came from
Exactly.
the, no. Didn't that line also come from this movie? Too?
Yeah,
it just
Michael
twisted it.
Bond
Yeah, Michael Biehn.
used
yeah,
that line.
Kyle Reese said it in
Yeah.
this one, and
Yes,
they
yeah.
reused it.
Oh,
in
and of course
T2.
the famous "I'll be back."
Yeah, of course,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah. Which he did come back.
He did, yeah.
Many
Great
times-
foreshadowing there.
Many times,
Thank you.
many times, even though he probably shouldn't have. Speaking to the rest of this franchise.
The
Since
one.
we're talking about Terminator and we mentioned Predator earlier, shameless plug from me, the band Austrian Death Machine. All metal songs about Arnold.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I
Yeah.
keep forgetting
With an
about
Arnold
that, man.
impersonator in the vocals.
Yeah. I keep forgetting about that.
That was pretty
You
fun.
need to send me a link to one of their pieces.
Okay.
Honestly, that way I.
Oh, be back!
Number 7 is Ghostbusters. Just a really good movie. I think that combined genres really well. A lot of people don't think of it as sci-fi, which is surprising to me.
It is.
I-
It
like,
totally
it's-
is.
I'm one of those people too. As much as I do like the movie.
Yeah, it just combines sci-fi and supernatural.
Yeah.
That's what it is. I feel like that's where the
I mean,
confusion is.
three of the four characters are scientists. so-
Yeah.
Well, yes.
I came up with something the other day. I want to hear your thoughts on it.
Huh.
Beetlejuice, Ghostbusters, and Scream are all movies for different ages of people who grew up on Scooby-Doo.
Kind of true. I can see that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I can see it too. I feel like out of the three, I feel like Beetlejuice is the one that's a little out there.
Yeah.
But no,
It
I
still
do
kinda
I do
fits,
agree.
yeah.
Yes, yeah, no, there's a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
And just in terms of like how you would enjoy your content.
Yeah.
yeah, no, I get you.
Yeah.
I get you.
I thought that the other day. It's like, huh? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
That's
no,
right.
that's
yeah.
interesting. I
Yeah.
hadn't quite thought about it.
Yeah.
But no, you're right. No, I just there's few movie franchises that survive. I would say like they get a lot of movie franchises get dragged back from the grave, especially today.
Yes.
This is one of the ones.
The Goonies is coming back.
Is it?
Wait, what?
Yeah, they just
You're not talking
confirmed that. I
about
thought.
Skeleton Crew.
I think it is official.
I did not hear this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've never heard anything about that.
I believe Sean Astin is confirmed. It sounds like Daisy Ridley's going to be in it.
Hopefully, Corey Feldman.
Josh Brolin.
Well, Josh Brolin, of course.
It
Yeah.
has to be.
Um,
Hugh Kwan.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I think all the kids were confirmed.
Good. I
You
fucking
gotta bring
hope
back
so.
the kid who played Chunk.
Yes, they have to.
Apparently, it's
cornerstone.
Christmas 2026 that's coming out, which
Okay.
means
Okay.
we are getting Star Wars, Dune, and Goonies all at the same time period.
Wow.
I feel really bad.
Oh,
for
and
Goonies. I'm not
I
gonna
seen
lie.
the Goonies, and I really enjoyed the Goonies.
That and
You should enjoy Skeleton Crew then. The Star Wars show.
That's true. Yeah, I can't wait for
that
that.
and next July are going to be absolute monsters.
Oh God.
I forget what's coming out next
Oh.
July.
Jurassic Park, then
Superman.
Superman, then Fantastic Four.
That's right.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Insane.
Man, we're gonna go
God.
bankrupt in July.
Those are massively stacked months.
Yeah, they are.
2025, Battle of July.
I can't get here fast enough.
That's
We
true.
are going
I
to do it on the New Year's episode. We are going to do end of the year episode. We are going to do a prediction about that. Nobody answered now, but we are going to bring up like what we think is going to win July.
We need to see trailers for all those first before
That's
I
true.
Can, before I can judge that.
We'll probably get a
True.
Superman trailer for Christmas.
I heard we are getting
Maybe.
one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Or
And
they're
we'll
done
definitely
they're done
talk about
shooting
the most
pretty much,
anticipated
aren't they?
films of
Okay.
the year, and also
Yeah, we'll
the
do
best
our
movies of
anticipated movies
2024.
for
So
2025 again.
that'll be a fun one. But anyway, I believe you're at number 7. I think now it's the number 6 that's
Yeah,
next on the list.
Yeah, number 6 is Tron, the original.
Movie I still need to see.
I've not seen it
Really?
either.
I've not seen. Tron.
Yeah, I need to watch that too.
It's. I feel like it's another one of those like it's garnered a bigger following throughout the years.
Yeah.
because I don't
That's
think
true.
it did too well when it came out.
No.
I don't think it did.
But it's
A lot of
kinda-
the 80s sci-fi movies didn't.
well, yeah. This is one where it's hard to imagine the fact that it didn't do so well at the time, just because of everything that's surrounding it. Now, like you look at look at the Disney parks. The Disney parks is representative of like what works from the company
Yeah.
and what doesn't. So it's hard to imagine that Tron didn't do so well in '82 when it came out, or yeah, I think it was '82 when it came out. It's
Yeah.
hard to imagine that it didn't do too well then when we have a light cycle coaster in 2 parks.
Well,
You
that was
know?
a fairly new thing. Just a few
It
years
was,
ago.
but that plays into the entire like it's become more of a cult.
And they're
classic.
doing a third one now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aries. Yeah, my excitement for that has been slowly diminishing.
I'm mainly excited for it just because 9 Inch Nails.
yes.
So,
That's one of the main things I'm excited about.
yeah.
I'm just not excited about the isekai plot when it doesn't tie into Legacy.
I haven't seen either the first one or Legacy. I'll watch,
Really?
Yeah, I haven't seen Tron Legacy.
Neither have
Oh my!
'Cause
Y'all got homework.
well, yeah, before the third one comes out, I'll watch those 2. But
Well,
yeah,
it-
just never grew up on Tron.
I. Yeah.
Yeah, my dad introduced me to it. He said that he really liked it when he was growing up.
Very
I-
young Jeff Bridges also in this movie.
Yes, it's really funny because it's one of the things that Jeff Bridges always looks to bring up.
That is true.
Yeah, like there
He's
was
more than a cowboy.
Yeah, there was a actors round table from like a year or 2 ago where Pedro Pascal was talking about how he was going to be in Last of Us, and he's talking about how his video game property and like how he thinks that it's interesting how they like incorporate it. And Jeff Bridges, I think Jeff Bridges went, "Oh, a video game? You did a video game? Well, I was in a video game."
That's true.
He was like, "I was in a game called Tron." it's I think it's really funny that like that's one of the things that Jeff Bridges always looks to talk about these days. It's just really funny, and especially
wholesome,
like
too.
watching it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's it's just really funny, and when you, I look forward to hearing what you guys think about it, watching it today, because like
Okay.
I watched it
Yeah,
as
I
a
gotta-
kid growing up,
I'll watch it.
so.
Yeah, I'll definitely
There's
watch it.
there's like a disconnect for me there, so I want to know what you guys think about it watching it as adults, because the effects don't translate super well, but it was what it was for '82 for a low budget sci-fi movie that nobody
And
was
for
going
being
to
one
watch.
of the first movies to really delve into CGI.
Yeah, like this was a major precursor to what George Lucas did with the prequels.
Mhm.
Like they did a lot for it, and honestly, I think that it still translates really well. I feel like they were severely limited by their time, and they still managed to pull something out that was really amazing.
Right.
Number 5 was Spaceballs.
Hmm.
I'm not going to talk a lot about it, other than Since we already mentioned
Now
it.
they're gonna kill me.
I just can't. No, you're not the only one.
Yeah, y'all don't get off after this fucking
Both of us
episode.
are gonna get killed.
Shit's keeping up. Y'all are watching it this week. If I had to fucking watch Alien this month, y'all had to watch fucking Spaceballs. Screw y'all.
What the hell am I looking at?
It really is just a lot of people go like, well, you can't make this movie today. Blazing
They
Saddles,
say that
Saddles
about
being
they
one of
say
the
that about
biggest examples.
every
Comedy.
comedy movie back then. Like
They do.
There's nothing in Spaceballs that's that offensive
Yeah.
compared to Blazing Saddles.
But I'm
Come
not
on.
even talking about like when I say that, I mean it in a different way, because a lot of people talk about like the content of the jokes. They don't talk about the jokes themselves. You were right on the fucking money what you were talking about, Garrett. The fact that they don't write movies the same fucking way.
No, that's
We
just
could never get something
so
like what
stupid.
Spaceballs was today.
I haven't
Not even
seen-
when they do Spaceballs.
I haven't seen anyone talk about that in regards to Spaceballs, but like
No.
if I do and I'm that makes me mad. Like Jesus Christ. Like like content of the jokes. They're fucking jokes. Guys, come on.
Well, it is fucking stupid when people make those like kind of comments. But I'm trying
keeping
to
my
like,
mouth shut on this.
well, I'm trying to keep, I'm trying to
Well, you
apply
haven't
like
seen,
a
you
alternative-
haven't seen the movies, so you don't know what we're talking
yeah.
I know, but I'm just saying in general. Like I'm keeping my mouth shut on stuff like this.
Well, I'm saying it in a different kind of light because, like, I'm not talking about the fucking content. I don't care
Yeah.
about like racist jokes and shit like that of like
Well,
movies of the past and stuff.
I care about them when they're not funny, and that's how I
Yeah.
feel about most offensive jokes. Like, if you're funny and you're making kind of offensive jokes,
Exactly.
fine.
Yeah.
But if you do it and you're not clever about it, then
yes,
that's where the problem lies.
agreed.
Yeah.
George Carlin, said something about that. Like, if you make clever offensive jokes, that's fine. But like, comedy doesn't really work unless it's offending on some level. But
Yeah. Here's what's weird about Spaceballs, and this is where you're probably gonna get mad at this. I was watching.
Coming for the person who hasn't seen it.
Oh no, it's not that. I watched 31 and 31 when they did Night of Comedy. There were a couple YouTubers that had it very low on the list at like 29 out of 31. And I thought to
Of,
myself,
like,
Spaceballs being this low of Night of Comedy, which means they didn't care for that
Was
much.
it like top 100? Was it top 50?
Top 31.
top 30 comedies.
Top 31 comedy, like Night of Comedy.
Comedies of
like,
all time?
Yeah.
Well-
and they had 29 on the list, and I was thinking, but why though? I probably would like this movie. So that's weird.
Of all time, I could see it being close
Sure,
to 29.
there's a lot of comedies I like more than this, but like I've always loved this movie.
Yeah, it's got a
just
lot of
do.
charm to it.
I've grown up on it.
Yeah.
so
I really want to see It's a Mad Men World.
that's one of the all-time greats.
Yeah.
And yeah, now I think movies like Airplane or Young Frankenstein are better movies than Spaceballs, of course. But like
Shush.
Airplane, what did I say?
I didn't care for Airplane either.
Are you kidding me?
Son of
dude?
a
Matthew!
fuck!
Airplane is
What is wrong with
is like
you?
peak. Airplane is peak. Oh my god. Okay. Jesus Christ.
Friendship ended. I'm kidding.
Man. Just
I'm the
bringing
one
out the hot takes on this.
What the fuck?
See,
once
Garrett,
the audience
see,
isn't
Garrett,
gonna wanna
you
murder
see what
John, they're gonna
happens
wanna
when
murder
Man, and
They
I let
usually-
you lead the
you know
episode.
what,
What the hell,
You
dude?
and Paul have weird takes with comedy, man.
Garrett, they usually come to me when they say I have horrible takes. Matthew has more horrible takes than mine.
I will
That
own
is
it. Tonight
facts.
is my night for bad takes.
Yeah, as long as you own it, honestly.
Yeah.
You still have more overall.
That's true.
Oh,
It's true.
please!
It's
Yours
true.
is worse.
It's
I
true.
agree.
Yours is worse.
I want to say it's
What?
worse.
Were we at number 4?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
number
was
4.
at number 4. We already mentioned Back to the Future.
To death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really don't know how I can highlight it much more other than saying that Part 1 very much is a perfect movie. I already said that on the podcast before. I think when I was putting together my list, part of my criteria was like its impact on culture.
Yeah.
And John, we talked about this a little bit when we were talking about Part 2, where
I agree.
like Part 2 kind of set an expectation at the time, like maybe not so much a realistic expectation, But it
Yeah.
kind of like set a thing where as soon as like 2015 got here, everybody was looking for hoverboards. They were looking for flying cars. They were looking for self-drying clothes, like all that.
Yeah.
And ever since, like that's kind of been like not so much like something that everybody's talking about all the time.
Yeah.
But it's still like a constant thought in people's mind of like when are we going to catch up to this?
And Back to the Future 2 is actually kind of like influenced a lot of like sequels now, like
Oh,
especially
yeah.
Avengers Endgame. Like
Yeah.
Endgame, like the second act of Endgame is basically Back to the Future 2.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
much-
I can never get watching teens react to Back to the Future Part 2 exactly on the date when it says this day 2015, and they're watching the reaction on that day 2015,
Yeah.
which it's so funny, and they get their minds blown. There's like, whoa, what?
If I remember right, it's October 15th, 2015.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Which it's so cool. But Back to the
Such a
Future
special
franchise
date
as a
in
whole
time.
is pretty great. If they do a remake, please do.
No,
please
no.
do not screw
They're
it
not-
up. If they do,
I don't.
No, they're not
why would
going
you
to
want
so
that?
long as Robert Zemeckis is still alive. He
Well,
said
that
they
is
will Never
true.
make
That
a
is true.
remake of it or do a reboot. Nothing until he dies.
Yeah.
As long as he has the rights, he's not letting it happen,
gotcha.
which is totally fine by me.
In back part 2 and 3 are not going to be. Part 3 came out in the 90s, and part 3 is not going to be on my favorite list. A lot of people are not fans of part 3, but I enjoy part 3.
Yeah,
quite
yeah,
a
no,
bit.
it's.
I enjoyed all three
it's
of these
legit
movies.
It's
good.
definitely it's definitely not on the same levels. I don't think part 2 or 3 are on the same or either on the same level as the original. But
No.
there's
Yeah, I
parts
agree
of
with
all
that.
3 I really
Yeah, but all three of them are
both those
fantastic
movies
as
I
a
really
whole. Yeah,
enjoy.
Yeah.
What's next on your list?
Well, it was my number 3.
then the
Until-
joke got
Until my
ruined.
Howard the Duck joke got fucking hijacked. I put
Success.
after you hijacked my joke, I put ET. I guess. Thanks, Matthew, with a mad face.
And ET's on the way. Let's go. Yay.
I mean, there's just no avoiding the fact that ET is really fucking good. There's
Absolutely.
no avoiding it.
Absolutely.
And yes,
I really need to rewatch it soon.
again, how many family movies have tried to emulate E.T.?
Right.
Most of them have been good, and
There's been- I love-
most are
I
great,
love
thanks
Super
to
8.
ET. So
Yeah.
I do love Super 8.
Super 8's fantastic.
It's amazing.
yeah, I like
It's
Super
super
8 a lot.
underrated.
Earth to Echo, I wasn't big on.
I still haven't seen Earth Attack.
It's found footage. It kind of felt phony to me.
I heard it's very weird.
Super 8 might be on my list.
Oh, really? Okay.
Huh? Interesting.
Okay.
Future weeks.
Future week.
Okay, yeah, I
that's
get you.
true.
I get you. I
Yeah.
get you. Okay.
All right. Now in top 2, what do we got?
So, number 2, has anybody mentioned an animated movie yet?
I don't think so.
No.
I'm trying to think of what
No?
movie it would be.
It gives us one of the coolest shots in all cinematic
Is this
history.
an anime?
One, yes.
Okay, I
You
don't
probably know what it
I-
is then.
Akira?
Yes,
Okay.
it's
Yeah,
Akira.
Yeah, I've not seen it.
Man.
Are you?
Wow. But then again, though,
You haven't seen it either.
Hey,
I'm
I
glad-
One,
but
you should not see it. I will tell you that right now.
I'm glad you put it on this list, though. I feel like
Okay.
this had to be mentioned. in some
I
way.
definitely heard of it. I don't know. I never got an urge to watch it for some
Did
reason.
Ghost in the Shell come out in the 90s or 80s?
90s.
I
It came out in
believe it
90s.
was early 90s.
Yeah, like 92.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I'm familiar with the
Akira-
title of Akira.
Akira
Akira.
has to be mentioned. So
Yeah, I was super surprised. I was like,
just
it's
that
not as like big as I thought it was.
just that image of
The slide?
that how many times has that been replicated in recent years?
Exactly.
Like,
Batman's fucking done it multiple
even
times.
Jordan Peele did it in Nope.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Like it's like I said,
I
it's
need
one
to
of
try
the
to
most
rewatch that.
famous shots in all cinematic history. And
Yep.
it's from a fucking
Okay,
cartoon.
so give me a heads up. Why do you think I wouldn't like this if I did try to watch it?
It has sensitive content that I don't think that you would like to watch.
Okay.
There are children in danger. There's sexual content in it, even though
Right.
it's not a whole lot of sexual content. It's kind of just the nature of the content.
Right.
Let's see. What else? There is a lot of body horror in it, especially towards the end. I think that you would be okay with it since one, it's animated,
Right.
and two, it's not. It's like techno. We were talking about cyberpunk earlier. This is cyberpunk.
Gotcha.
So it's like cyberpunk body horror. It's interesting.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I think that you would
Interesting.
be all right with it. But the other things is what I think would disqualify it from you.
Okay, live action kills I'm okay with, but animated kills it depends.
Yeah, they are making this a live action movie, so keep on that.
Do you think,
Okay.
Who do you think would be the best fit for a live action remake of this?
Well, when it was announced, it was Taika Waititi, and Ryan Potter was going to be.
Honestly,
I forget what his name
no
is.
offense to Taika Waititi, I just
Canada.
don't think he's the right fit. To be
Not
honest.
not for Akira.
I love Ryan Potter.
Yeah, Ryan Potter I think would kill it as Kaneda, honestly.
Honestly, I'm not gonna say Denis Villeneuve because that's the easy answer.
Yes, agreed.
For a director who could take on, I'm gonna say this, Ryan Coogler. I think he'd be
I'd
an
like to see
interesting
that.
choice.
Yeah, I think that would be really interesting. One thing that, because I don't think that we're going to get this for a long time, the live action Akira.
Yeah, it's been in development for so long at this point.
Yeah, like the last thing that I heard about it was back in like 2019, 2020 when it was announced.
Yeah.
Um,
Jordan Peele's
Sounds like
name.
a Flash movie.
Jordan Peele's name was even Blade, fucking Blade.
Yeah.
That's, I'm pretty sure that's gonna be canceled.
I think we're gonna get a Wesley Snipes Blade.
yeah, I could see that.
I don't think that's the
See,
right.
as
don't
I
think it's the right
called it,
direction,
I
but I
called
can
that
see
in
it.
the Deadpool Wolverine review. I called it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not official, so you haven't fully called it yet.
No.
Okay,
Yeah.
but I hope they do.
But it's been rumored this week, like that
Yeah.
Yeah.
and the Armor Wars.
But that's
Yeah.
a conversation for another time.
Yes, yes.
But Akira, but I heard it's definitely considered one.
For a different time.
But I heard it's considered one of the greatest anime movies of all time.
It is. It's
Yeah.
very widely celebrated, and for good reason. It's got
Probably not for me though.
The animation is worth the watch.
That's true.
I'll say that.
Yeah.
I bet
So
I know what
if you
your
want to
number
go
one
based
is.
on that merit, I would say go based on that merit.
Gotcha.
Because the other stuff, it's not. It's a very heavy movie.
Gotcha.
It's super serious. It's got comedy in it,
Okay.
but it's. I don't know what the right word would be for it because I don't want to make it sound bad.
Intense.
Yeah, I would say intense.
Okay.
It's dark.
Dark. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it is very good though. I think that it's worth the watch just for the experience of watching.
Okay.
I bet I know what your number one is.
Oh yeah, you absolutely know what my fucking number one.
I know
is.
this too. I feel like
I mean, I would probably bet all my money if I know what number one.
There's only two options for what it could be.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm surprised you didn't have both of them on the list.
Yeah. Do you guys want to say what my number one is?
Yes, The Empire Strikes
Empire.
Back.
Yeah.
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 I just almost my entire life I haven't been a big Return fan.
Oh, okay.
Like, I like it. I cherish it for what it is, and I super appreciate it. I think it's like pretty close to the middle on my list. I think it's like 4 or 5.
I'll say the first two acts are good but not great. I think the third act is where Return really
Agreed.
as soon as the Emperor comes in to Return of the Jedi, that's where it really gets great for me.
Yeah, that seems to be the pretty general consensus. A lot of my friends tend to skip like the first act because either they think that's too boring or just because of certain content.
It feels
in it.
very separate. It feels like it's there just to continue
It's a
off
recap.
Empire and then
Yeah.
to like fuck off for the rest of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's super interesting because the reason why Harrison Ford, Han, was frozen at the end of Empire wasn't so much for shock. It's because they didn't think that Harrison was going to be in the third one. He was
Yeah.
going to be replaced
And he was
completely by
tired of
Lando.
playing that character. He was tired of it. That's what he said.
Yeah.
I saw something really funny the other day. You're gonna get a big chuckle out of this.
Huh.
It's a proof why everything is better with Freebird, and they put Freebird over the Death Star battle.
Yes! Yes!
Like the part where they blow it up.
Yeah!
As they're blowing the ship up, it's still.
Give me that.
Can someone put Freebird over the climax of Endgame? Like, oh my god, that'd be the greatest.
I'd be
thing.
on board with that. Yeah.
I want to riff on the Death Star battle one with the battle over Scarif in Rogue One, especially with like the spiral towards the Star
Whoa,
Destroyer
yeah.
overhead. Oh, it's so good.
Mhm.
Or no. I mean the hammerhead crashing into it.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. I need to find that. That's so good. For all the reasons that we talked about earlier with Endgame, its cultural impact,
Yes.
what it did for cinema.
Yes.
It's also, in my opinion, from that era of film, it's the one that has maintained its look the best. Like, it's aged visually super well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Empire, like watching it on 4K and like a really good TV.
Yeah.
It looks like a movie that could have came out today.
Yeah,
honestly.
Absolutely.
Well, I looked up what the camera was. I forget what it's called, but it was like one of the big, like, if you got that camera, it meant fucking business.
Mhm.
Like it was super expensive to rent. You couldn't buy it. That's the reason why in Return of the Three, Return of the Three,
Return of the Jedi.
What was that?
That's why Return of the Jedi has a visual downgrade. It's
Yeah.
because they had to switch cameras. It's just the reason why Empire's held up so well. Not to mention all the tricks that they managed to play. The set design was still super good.
Yep.
I think one of the things that is really amazing, and it's something that I didn't know about because I've never watched the. No, that's a lie. I've seen the despecialized editions, like pre-Lucas cuts,
Mhm.
once in my life, and that was when I was like 4 or 5. So I barely remember.
I had the VHSs, and that's the last time I saw them.
Yeah. I had the VHSs when I grew up too, but once we got the Lucas cuts and the prequels were coming out, we kind of switched over to the DVDs. So I just only really need the special editions from there on.
There are bootlegs out there. Sure,
Yeah,
but like,
There's
it's hard
4K
to say.
bootlegs.
Are there 4K bootlegs?
I believe
I'm
so.
sure.
Yeah.
oh, I'm sure.
Totally do not send them to me. Totally do not send them to me. 1000%
Yeah,
do not
I
send
have
them
the
to me.
I have the original trilogy on VHS tape that were not special editions. They like the OG Star Wars
the original,
movies.
like
yeah.
before Star Wars, before New Hope was New Hope.
I don't even
Like-
have all of them on Blu-ray yet. I have DVDs for a lot of them.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I really need to upgrade my collection.
The
I
only
wanted
ones
to
I
get the
have on
Target covers.
Blu-ray are, I have
The newer ones.
yeah, Rogue One, Force Awakens,
Mm.
and then I have the 4K Blu-ray combos of 8 and 9
Okay,
because they were
yeah.
Disney movie rewards that I got for free.
Oh, that's. Damn, I'm really bummed out that I
Yeah.
never did anything with.
Which I
before.
found out that I could actually play 4K disc on my PlayStation 5. Which I thought,
Yeah,
cool,
yeah.
cool, I can do that.
But yeah, I really want to get the original trilogy and Revenge of the Sith on Blu-ray.
Yes.
So there you go. That's our list.
Well, I mean, I wasn't done talking about Empire, but okay.
I mean, you can if you like. I mean, you can keep going.
It's whatever.
If you let him go off, he's gonna go all
Yeah,
night.
that's the reason why I'm trying to hold myself back.
Mm.
Empire's my second favorite, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my second favorite, and
My third.
it's held up so well. The only part about it that hasn't held up is the Vader hologram on Veers' AT-AT on Hoth.
Yeah.
Compared to how Leia looked in New Hope, it really is a major downgrade.
Interesting. Okay.
Like we get multiple. There's multiple holograms in Empire. One of them being the new version of Palpatine,
Yeah.
like after Ian McDiarmid was cast. It's so weird that when Lucas was touching everything up, that he didn't touch up that hologram. Like, it's just like an off comment that I wanted to make about Empire.
Wait,
that
you said Vader's hologram. Do you mean the Emperor's?
no,
hologram?
Vader's.
Oh, okay.
Because he touched on Palpatine's. Palpatine looks the same way that he does in Revenge of the Sith, obviously. But like in Lucas cut, he touched on that hologram, but he didn't touch on the one in Veers' AT-AT. So it looks really bad. It's like the only hologram that looks super shitty in all of Star Wars. It's insane. Like every other hologram looks great. Carrie Fisher still looks amazing in the original 1977 film.
Yes.
Yep.
But yeah, no, Empire just there's something different about it. It really is a great movie. It's got a lot of charm. Yeah, I'm not going to continue on about it. Like you guys know, I could go on for hours.
We thank you guys for joining on this episode. We had a lot of
Thank
fun
you.
with us.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Make sure to hit that bell notification. Make sure to give us reviews if you're listening to us on platforms. And make sure to share us with everybody.
I know we've been getting a lot of like views on the audio only videos, so let us know if you prefer audio or video.
Yeah.
You can listen to these in your car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna try for next time. Hopefully, we'll be there for next week. We'll do the
Yeah.
we'll do the '90s sci-fi. That's
Next week
gonna
will be 90s.
that'll be for next time.
There's 2 movies coming up we're reviewing this month still that I know of. Transformers 1,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe we're doing Amber Alert.
What is Amber Alert again?
It's got Hayden Panettiere. A
Oh,
kid goes missing. She's in like an Uber. She sees the car in front of her, and she has like the Uber driver like chasing the kid so he doesn't like go missing forever.
That's
might
the
have
one
s-
I'm
I
thinking
might have
myself.
seen a
Yeah, that's
poster for
probably
that.
not gonna be for me.
It's a
It-
thriller.
But you know what, Transformers
I-
1,
I
I will
know
admit, looks
very
really
little
good.
about it.
I'm
But
actually kind of excited for
It
Transformers
looks
1.
really good.
what has you excited for it? though?
It just seems like really intense, and like I like Hayden Panettiere. She's a great actress.
Next week is Speak No Evil, which I've heard is actually quite good.
See,
The
I was
remake.
gonna watch it, but then I heard that there was an ending that can make people mad. So I'm thinking to myself, now I'm probably gonna jump ship now and say
That might
no,
be a quick
goodbye.
review by yourself, because I'm not sure
Maybe.
if anybody else is gonna watch it.
John.
Blumhouse needs a good movie this year. They've
We'll
had
talk about it
not
later.
a
Don't
great
worry about
year.
it.
So.
But yeah, thank you so much for joining us, and don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram,
Threads.
and Threads,
Oh, yeah.
Facebook, and we'll keep you up with more new content very soon.
Yeah, follow our YouTube. Next month we got a few big things that I'll mention. We got obviously a Joker review.
Mhm.
Let's
Yeah.
go. Yes.
We are going to be doing indie film spotlight on. There's 2 full-length Scooby-Doo fan films we're doing for October.
Hmm.
And actually they're like set in the 70s.
Interesting.
Cool.
Paul said he wanted to do a review rewind of the 2 live-action Scooby-Doo movies.
Okay. Yeah.
And for the anniversary, we are doing, if all of us, well, whoever's doing it, if they're caught up on it, we're going to look back at the Batman 2004
Yeah.
for the 20th anniversary.
I am not.
Okay.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, I know Dylan and
Everybody should
I
watch
think
it.
John is too.
Yeah, I need to get caught up on that. I got tons of movies I need.
Yeah, I
to
need,
catch
I
up
need to
on, all
start
that
watching it.
stuff, yeah.
65
I'll
episodes.
I'll definitely probably do a review of Smile too.
Yep.
So,
I think Paul's going to watch that too, so yeah, you guys could do that.
Yeah.
But that's some stuff we got coming up in October. This year's almost over.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
coming to a
It's
close.
going by super fast.
Yeah.
At least for me.
this is my favorite time of the year.
Yeah.
Easily, I love
All the
this
Burr months.
September, October. I love Halloween in general.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
And that means the award seasons will be just around the corner.
Yep.
You guys are gonna love my Halloween costume this year, by the way.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, yes, thank you all for watching. God bless as always. We'll see you
And-
next time.
See you next time, and Beetlejuice episode coming next.
Yeah.
Bye.
Whatever's on. Bye.
We have been the Cinema Asylum Podcast. You guys were awesome.